Next on Saratoga Live, 3-year-old filly Tap It Today enters today's feature on back-to-back wins by a combined 7 lengths. Can she keep the streak alive in her stakes debut? Good Things Take Time is graded stakes tested already. Perhaps, as her name suggests, she'll break through with her first win in the States. And we'll preview Saturday's showdown in the Run Happy Travers as 2-year-old champ Good Magic looks to solidify his status as the top 3-year-old colt left in training after that impressive score in the Haskell. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Saratoga Live. It is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Great to have you with us on this Thursday afternoon. It is Run Happy Travers Week, and there is a buzz in the air as fans taking in this Thursday action on a beautiful day here in Saratoga Springs, gearing up for the premier weekend of the meet ahead, the Midsummer Derby. We'll talk plenty about that coming up. And, of course, a great card today. Greg Wolf alongside former New York Met, L.A. Dodger, Paul Aduca. Risk Averse is our feature today. And Chad Brown, the meet's leading trainer, has 2 3-year-old fillies he'll send out. But it's the one who's stepping up in a stakes company for the first time that's getting a lot of attention in Tap It Today.
Yeah, this is a filly by Tap It, obviously, that debuted at Gulfstream Park with, I guess, decent intentions, a little bit under 8-1. She didn't get off to the best beginning. Then they went to the dirt over sloppy racetrack in Monmouth, and now she's sort of regained her form. And there you see the big gray on the outside. I get it, against weaker competition, and maybe these races aren't that good, but she's done them, or at least won both of the last 2 in style. She's gonna have to prove it today.
Yeah, she won that start you're looking at from an extreme outside post, wide trip, and one going away. So can she take it to the next level here in the big leagues? Get signed up, get started, play along. Go to NYRaBets.com. $200 new member sign-up bonus. Use the promo code Saratoga Live and bet any track, anytime, anywhere. With more on today's feature, we're going to check in downstairs in the paddock with the rest of our crew. New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling and Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks so much, Greg. It's a beautiful day here at Saratoga. It's one of those days you just happy to be anywhere, but it's so great here at Saratoga. The Risk Averse, always a fun race and a big field for this. Good Things Take Time. You and I have talked about this before. She's has to be considered the horse to beat.
Oh, for sure. She has run the fastest races in the field against the best horses, too. Now, this is a look at her race 2 starts back in the Penn Oaks down at Penn National, where she finished 3rd behind Got Stormy. But the way that this race was run, I thought she actually ran a tremendous race, and she followed that up in the Lake George, Andy, to be forwardly placed in a pace that collapsed for the winner.
I completely agree with you. I think she is the horse to beat. I think her trainer, Jorge Abreu, who was an assistant to Chad Brown, he's been having a great meet. He does a terrific job. And at the end of the day, Good Things Take Time. Win or lose, she is the one that they have to beat in this race. But it is a race full of up-and-comers and horses trying to move forward in the division. Now, a horse who's already forward in the division is looking to solidify that position this Saturday is Good Magic. With more on him, let's head out to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thank you, Andy. And Chad Brown will be sending out the 2 favorites in this Run Happy Travers. And it's Chad Brown's world, and we're just living in it as we saw the 2 likely favorites schooling here in the paddock at Saratoga. Good Magic and Gronkowski looking fantastic in their preparations leading up to this Saturday's Travers. And as I said, Chad Brown has really put a lot of lengths between he and his nearest competitor, which is Todd Pletcher. He has more than double the wins than last year's meet winner in Todd Pletcher, and sitting at 32, he has gone over here today with his 2 runners, but he is sending out 4 short-priced horses in 3 of the races that we will be bringing you. He's also looking to break that win margin. 4 wins here in Saratoga, and his run for 41 looks as though Chad might be getting near that soon, as we do have, well, just about under 2 weeks left in this meet. And Greg, he looks as though he could very well eclipse that number that he set 2 years ago.
Yes, that is indeed true. He is very, very close to setting a new record for wins here at this historic meeting. And as Maggie mentioned, major contenders in races 8, 9, and 10 all coming up for the meet's leading trainer, Chad Brown. Here's the races we're going to bring you this afternoon. Late pick 4 begins in race 7. It's 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Race 8 sprinting on the dirt, 6 furlongs. The risk-averse race 9, a mile on the inner turf where Chad Brown will have both Tap It Today and Punked. And then we close things out in the 10th with a 5.5 furlong sprint where Chad Brown will send out Identity Politics, who should have a big shot. Weather and track conditions presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of the Saratoga Racecourse. Piranha on, pests gone. It is a beautiful day here, and we have great conditions. Main track fast. Turf course is firm. 7th race, we're on the turf, sprinting 5.5 furlongs. And Jason Service has part of the entry here with Samara. Turf back to, or I should say dirt back to turf, a move that he is very strong with.
Yeah, very strong. And Samara, owned by Michael Dubb, is a little bit hard spun. They claimed this horse from Michael Maker. Michael Maker claimed this horse from Tom Albatroni 3 back when she almost won and lost by a neck. 3-2. Now, the other part of the entry, the 1A, Hop on the Bus, Gus, you know, maybe better going long. You look at Saratoga's 3 tries here, not that good. The 2 tries at the distance, not that good. And maybe this is a starting point to maybe go a little bit longer. He's going to be the horse that's going to be, you know, flying from way back, where Samara's got that tactical speed.
You went for coverage here, I see, in this first leg.
Listen, you know, I think Gabby said it yesterday. These turf sprints here at Saratoga are darn tough. And, like, you're getting value like 9-1 on Awesome Quick, which is a joke. I mean, that horse almost won last time out. Race number 8, 4, 6, and 8, and I'm not even confident in there. Race number 9, the 5 and the 9. I do think, like they said downstairs, the 9's the horse to beat. Monte Cristo is going in the right direction. And then race number 10, Identity Politics is going to be a heavy favorite in there. Been hearing some good things, been hearing some good things about the first-time starter for Mr. Zayat and Mr. Pletcher, the 7 in the last.
All right, it is a very competitive pick 4. And to get down, go to NYRABets.com or download the NYRABets app. We're going to take a break in the action. Full field preview. The Run Happy Travers, 2-year-old champ, Good Magic, your Haskell winner, taking on the filly, Wonder Gadot. For Mark Cassidy and Gary Barber, trying to become the first filly since 1915 to win it. We'll be back.
Eclipse champion Blaine is having a breakout year in 2018. Among the nation's leading sires of stakes horses, his recent top runners include Fault, Maraud, Marley's Freedom, Beyond Blame, and Miss Kentucky. He's also making a name for himself internationally with French Classic winner Singha. And with yearlings bringing up to $350,000, this 3-time Grade 1 winner offers outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NYRABets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or NYRABets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com.
Visit Rivers Casino and Resort, upstate New York's ultimate entertainment destination, with live table game action and the hottest new slots paying out millions. Book your luxury waterfront room or suite at upstate New York's premier resort, the Landing Hotel at Rivers Casino and Resort.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Saratoga Live. Late pick 4 coming up there on the left. Perennially one of the top owners at the meet here, Michael Dubb, teaming up here with an entry here in the 1A Hop of the Bus Gus, Rudy Rodriguez there in the cap. His son right next to him there, Rudy Jr. And Hop on the Bus Gus been better going longer, as you mentioned, Paul. But we'll see here, getting back to sprinting this afternoon. Of course, Michael Dubb with the other half of the entry there as well, Samara.
Yeah, and I just think Belmont's better for him for the sweeping turns. He's the kind of horse where the 7 furlongs and the 1-turn mile is just right up his alley. The 5.5 furlongs could just be a little too short. Get
involved with the Saratoga Showdown online contest. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. You're playing for real prizes without risking any money whatsoever, just your own handicapping knowledge. And part of that prize package, tickets to next year's Belmont Stakes. Time for a paddock report. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Thanks, Greg. And we'll check in with a filly who is trying the turf for the first time. Occupying the inside stall in the starting gate is number 2, Diamond Jen Brady. And while I have been a fan of hers from the overall physical sense, I am not necessarily picking up turf from her physically. You know, she's pretty upright through those pasterns, smaller foot to her. The dam was okay on the turf, but she was a little bit on the cheaper side. But, you know, that's kind of the same appearance that Diamond Jen Brady has as well. Now, though, speaking to her trainer, Mark Hennig, who is having a great meet here in 2018 up at Saratoga, has said that he really likes the way that this filly has moved in her turf works leading into this effort. So we'll see how she displays that in a race, though, as we'll move on to number 6, Dream Passage. She definitely has the turf form to suggest that she could get the job done here. And look, she participated in maiden special weight after maiden special weight and got the job done against the boys, and then Brad Cox picks her up. Had to run her in the off the turf event first off the claim, but she looks fantastic, as she typically does. But and I do feel as though this is somewhat of a lateral kind of trainer change overall, at least from my perspective, with how horses come over for both these trainers. But I'm excited to see what she can do here for this barn back on the turf, going the 5.5. Then a long shot, number 8, Alexander Key, or K, I should say, for Kevin Rice, nephew of Linda Rice here. First time on the turf, and has been running in cheap races, and I know has that appearance on paper, but trying the turf for the first time, this filly actually looks as though she'd really like it. Massive hoof to her, very slack pasterns, has nice hindquarters and a nice engine behind that saddle too. So to me, she looks as though she may appreciate these conditions here, Andy. I know I'm taking a little bit of a shot in the dark, though.
Well, I mean, I don't blame you, Maggie, for wanting to take a shot in this race, because at the end of the day, it's one of these races that seems on paper, and Gabby will, I think, concur, to be a very, very logical race. I mean, the one horse in this race, Samara, you've got off the claim for Jason Service, who's sensational off the claim. With the horse she gets to her good race, it's going to be hard to beat.
For sure. You can't really poke too many holes in her. I mean, 2 starts back, she didn't get out of the gate. That obviously hurt her for several reasons. And then when she was second by a neck, she was second behind Orschietti, who I thought ran a good race, and she was in a dogfight to the finish. I mean, by no means could you say that she hung in a race like that. She was just beaten by better. So she is a horse to beat, but there's no value here. She's 8-5 with Hop on the Bus Gus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think 8-5 is really too low a price. The question is, what price does she end up?
Sam the Bugler called a post, and our post parade coming up here for race 7. 5.5 furlongs on the turf. We'll kick things off with the entries. Samara gets post 3. Jason Service, Irad Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, one-time winner, and there's a couple in here that are 5-time winners, like the 7. That's why the 8-5 is confusing on the entry here.
Second post to the outside for the other half of the entry. Hop of the Bus Gus. Manny Franco rides for Rudy Rodriguez.
You really don't need to discuss much. You're just getting the other half of the entry.
Nice. Diamond Jen Brady, Julian Leperoux, Mark Hennig, and the turf debut for this filly.
It's a first vault Madame. There's really not much turf pedigree, and the sire himself, yes, it's true, it's just not a great turf influence.
Super Echo. Trying the turf for the first time. It was at Saratoga here August 2nd. Got a maiden claiming win for Michael Trombetta.
Feels like a horse that can be forwardly placed with speed in this race, but he's facing much tougher horses than she did when she broke her maiden.
Dream Passage, the 6 on the board at 5-2 here. Brad Cox second off the claim.
The biggest threat to the obvious horse, Samara, in here. Dream Passage, always good to go to Brad Cox's barn, and she's talented enough that she's the horse they have to worry about if you're against the 1.
Awesome, quick, is quick. Showed that quickness at Belmont last start, just missing with Kendrick Carmouche for Mike Maselli.
Yeah, if you like 9-1, she's run some good races. You know Kendrick's going to push the button from the beginning, so she's going to try to have to clear the 4 here early.
Alexandra Kay, trained by Kevin Rice, and Jose Lezcano will ride.
This horse has been running on synthetic, has never run on the turf, and really it's not a huge turf family, so she'd have to improve in the turf, and she isn't bred to.
First or second at 7-14. We'll see. She is a trier. The 9, Angel Food at 9-1. Dylan Davis for Leah Giramati.
I actually like this horse, this filly, a little bit for a long shot. She won first time on the turf, and I thought her other effort, she had a no-chance slot and a little bit of trouble. She might hit the board here at 9-1.
And another one trying the turf for the first time on the outside, Blushing Justine for Carlos Martin.
Well, she's another sort of guess if she moves up on the turf, but she'd have to improve a lot on the turf, and once again, doesn't have significant pedigree to do so.
That your field for race 7. It kicks off this late pick 4 sequence, closing in on $300,000 in the pool. Send it downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale for more on the filly you're looking at, Diamond Jen Brady.
Yes, the gray here in this field, Greg, as Diamond Jen Brady. She'll break from the inside here, Mark, and one trying the turf for the first time. You've been working her on the turf leading into this. What has she shown you in the morning that suggests that she'll take to this surface change?
She really floated over it the first time I took her over there, and it was a little soft that day, and I was a little worried about, you know, trying a horse first time turf in under those conditions, but she skipped along the top of it so nicely. I really have been looking forward to running her. I actually scratched her on and off the turf race the other day because I was really wanting to try turf while we were here.
And Mark, you're having a pretty nice meet yourself and coming in off the back of a winner yesterday, a very impressive maiden winner, first time out 2-year-old, and Achilles Warrior. Had you expected that? He took a lot of money late.
We did. That horse trained well. I mean, he was kind of deceiving because his like 5/8 works. We didn't ask that much of him. He went 102 and change, 103 and change, but his 2 gate works were really sharp. And you know, he's just a horse that exudes class, and we were really looking forward to running him. You know, I just took that. I was going to run him Saturday on Travers Day, but when I saw the weather, the way things have been going up here, I figured put him in main track only, and we got lucky and got a fast track anyway.
Yeah, he looks to be a promising one, but on the turf as far as tomorrow for the New York Red Showcase Day, taking a little shot in the West Point with the JY, who you said kind of turned his life around this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's an older horse. We gelded him over the winter. We gave him some time off and gelded him, and, you know, he's come back with, he's moving freer behind, and he's certainly running better. So, you know, he won the 2 other than New York break condition. He was knocking on the door in the A other than open. We figured we'd put him in against these kind and see how he did. You know, sometimes these races just have a way of having a lot of different results, so we're taking a shot.
Everybody takes a turn beating each other in this division. Mark, best of luck here, best of luck tomorrow, and thanks for joining us as always.
All right, thank you, Maggie.
All right, guys, Diamond Jen Brady, we'll see how she does from that inside post on the turf for the first time.
And there's a good look at her. Maggie mentioned the JY going to be in real tough going in the West Point. We'll have that tomorrow on our show. Offering Plan going to be a big favorite in that race for Chad Brown.
Well, the best thing could be that she does draw the rail, even though you're looking at the 1 now, that the 2 does draw the rail. So maybe she's pot committed from the beginning and goes towards the front end here. Now she's going to try to have to out-quick the 7, no pun intended, Awesome Quick, and Super Echo. So there could be some pace in this race. Alexandra Kay has a little bit of lick too early. So what gives in the first maybe quarter of a mile could, you know, be a big part of what happens late in this race, or who's going to be the horse rolling late.
Well, guys, as we send it downstairs, 8-5 public right now going with the numbers here. The numbers very strong for Jason Service in this type of situation.
Yeah, and he also may be in a position where he's training the best horse as well. So that's a pretty potent combination. And Samara's going to be there. She's going to be about even money, 6-5, and I have no problem with that. I think that you're maybe getting a little drag with Hop on the Bus, Gus, but Samara's taking the bulk of the play. The question really is the 6th Dream Passage, and obviously how quick the pace is, and it's a little bit of a guess. The 6th Dream Passage, I think we all agree, and the public agrees, Gabby. You and I took a small shot with her against Samara. She's the other horse.
She is. And you look at the pace in here, I would imagine that Super Echo will go. Samara's not slow. Awesome Quick isn't slow. And then, as Maggie suggested, maybe the surface change for Alexandra Kay. If she likes the turf, then she's going to be up on the engine, too. So it could create a good scenario for Dream Passage. And on top of that, Andy, I think, she was competing against Maiden Special Weight Company for her pretty much entire career. They finally dropped her for the $40,000 tag. She's not bad. She was just outclassed for a long time, and I actually think that this is a manageable field for her.
That's fair. She also lost a lot of races. She should have won. But maybe going shorter helped her, to be honest.
Creasy, La Moneda. I mean, look at the horses she was running against.
I know, but PK, and there are other horses. I wonder if going shorter actually helped her. If you look at her, 6 furlongs, and the class relief as well. But the truth is, if Samara doesn't run her race, that she's so clearly the other horse. Because as we go to the 7 Awesome Quick, I mean, Awesome Quick, there are races where you lose by a head or a half length. You say, that horse could have won, or that horse ran really well. And then sometimes there are horses that lose by a head, and you go, that was about as embarrassing a loss I've ever seen. I mean, Awesome Quick was absolutely crawling on the front end of this race. I mean, a snail could have outrun her in the backstretch. And she opens up in the stretch, and she got caught. To me, if she couldn't win with that scenario, and she could rate and win, I'm not saying, but if she couldn't win in those circumstances, how is she supposed to win against Tougher?
Yeah, that's where you have it right there, against Tougher.
Yeah,
her last race was a bad field, and she still couldn't get the job done.
They handed her the race on a silver platter, and a head felt like a mile.
And today, I don't think she's, like you said, I don't think she's going to be in a position to be on the lead by herself. She'll either be chasing, or
but she did win rating. That her last win was rating. To be fair, I don't like her.
That was a while
ago.
ago.
No, I'm just trying to be fair.
Yeah.
I don't say she can't win.
She's
First
9
of
to
all,
1.
by the way,
yeah, she's 9 to 1.
Poor Dream Passage has no chance.
Oh my goodness.
All 4 of us like her. She's out. Samara's home, guys.
That is a lot of weight to carry underneath Joel Rosario here. Everybody on our show here are going with the 6 horse.
Yeah, and it's not the right price on either. I get that the 1's the horse to beat Samara, but the 1 win was by a neck in Maiden 40, and I know Jason Service is doing wonders, and to take 3 to 2, and to take 2 to 1 on those 2 horses, wow. But you know what? They might run 1 too. I still am looking at Awesome Quick. I know a lot of people look at the trainers and Mike Maselli, but horse can get the job done. 5-time winner, and you're getting 9 to 1. I get it. Might not be as good, but I'd take my shot there than taking 3 to 2 in a horse that's suspect to me.
And a lot of times we talk about this, let the board kind of help you where to go in a race in here. But you're right. I mean, so we're looking at the other half of the entry, the 1A Samara. I mean, sorry, Hop of the Buscus. But you're right with Samara, who's the more highly regarded here because of Jason Service and his numbers so good here in this type of move. But, yeah, 1 win on the turf by a neck for 40 maiden claiming.
Yeah, it's tough to gauge. And maybe the 2's the play, right? The unknown. We don't really know what we're getting with the 2, and you're getting 7 to 1. Maybe that's a good gamble. Just, 2 to 5 to $10 to win on a horse that you really don't know what you're getting because you're not getting a lot of world beaters.
You are not. That is certainly the case. The 7 Awesome Quick, 10 to 1 right now. It's a 3-time winner on the turf. Samara the 1, just that 1 victory, but the other half of the entry, little insurance policy maybe, but been better going longer. 3-time winner on the grass. We will see what happens. Entry favored 7 to 5 to kick off our late pick 4. They go into the gate together here. We will set it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call to kick off the sequence. Here's Larry Colmus.
And just a few left to go into the starting gate here. Last couple of runners to come forward. Just waiting for Blushing Justine and Dream Passage to complete the line. Dream Passage has gone in, and here's Blushing Justine up to the outside stall. Goes in. And they're all in line. They're off. Blushing Justine started well. So too Alexandra Kay. Awesome Quick is up and on the pace too. And then it's Super Echo on the inside. Samara's in behind them. Then Hop on the Bus Gus. Diamond Jen Brady down toward the inside. Angel Food and Dream Passage is the trailer heading up the backstretch. Awesome Quick, Alexandra Kay, and Blushing Justine just to the outside of them. Moving into the far turn. Super Echo drafts in behind horses. Samara's fifth on the outside through a 22.02 quarter. Hop on the Bus Gus has got 4.5 lengths to make up. Then Diamond Jen Brady saving ground on the turn, 5 lengths from the front. Midway on the far turn. Angel Food, Dream Passage is going to come wide. They're into the stretch. Awesome Quick, Alexandra Kay, stride for stride. Samara comes up on the outside of them. Super Echo is in behind horses, needs a way out. Dream Passage is finishing fast on the far outside. Hop on the Bus Gus is there too. Angel Food's coming as well. Wide open into the final 16th. Samara to the front. Hop on the Bus Gus, Angel Food and Dream Passage all coming to the wire together. It's going to be Dream Passage. Dream Passage over Hop on the Bus Gus, then Angel Food and Samara.
Dream Passage just up in time under Joel Rosario for trainer Brad Cox.
Joel doing what he does best with these last-minute closers, just judging the wire at the right time. And it was an oddly run race. It looked like Samara was going to be home free at the quarter pole, and she just fizzled out.
I know. You and I were watching Gabby and I together, and we were just saying, well, the one's going to win this race for fun. We'll see if the 6 can get second here. And I'm going to tell you guys, and we said it before, Dream Passage must have been about 20 the best to have carried Paul, Gabby, Maggie, and me across the finish line first.
Yeah, right. And how about the 9 in between horses? Angel Food with Dylan Davis almost causing a giant upset here, but you're right. The 6, Joel Rosario, I say this all the time. He finishes the best of the game without using the whip. He's just so strong, and a bad beat if you had the 1A, which is probably a lot of people thought was the other part of the entry, actually.
The weaker half,
the weaker half, yeah.
6, 1A, 9, who is 17-1 on the board, but an even money favorite defeated to start off the late pick 4. Second choice on the board at 2-1. Dream Passage gets the win, picks up just her second win in 10 tries over the turf.
Yeah, Brad Cox just does wonders. I mean, he's a heck of a trainer. Now this filly's 2 for 12 lifetime, and nice little heady claim. They dropped this filly for 40. He picked her up, he gave her a race, got a third, and boom, a W.
So Dream Passage kicks off the late pick 4 sequence with a victory. Here's the second choice on the board. We'll be back with prices right after this. Had to work for this victory. The entry looking tough, but in the final stride here, Dream Passage gets by for the win. We'll be back.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. He has won the Travers over American Fire. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Alice Ellis. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it
Back on Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2 and other regional networks across the country. Dream Passage kicking off the late pick 4 with a victory from off the pace for Brad Cox, second off the claim.
Yeah, congratulations to Circle B Racing, Wellspring Stables LLC, who bred this New York bred by Stormy Atlantic out of the Raffy's Majesty mare, Raffy's Dream. Now 2 for 12 lifetime, and very good effort here in 103 flat. Actually, pretty fast time.
He can finish, can he? Joel Rosario, so strong, coming from off the pace. He's with Maggie Wolfendale downstairs.
Here with winning rider Joel Rosario aboard Dream Passage. Joel, this is a quintessential Rosario ride. You know, hardly touch her, just get up in the last jumps. How confident were you?
Yeah, she's really nice filly. She just give you always. She tried really hard, 100%. I broke her, it's fine, and then I just let it be where she was and trying to make it my move on the outside because she's kind of feeling she's a little strong. You don't want to maybe get it behind somebody and then shake them a little bit when she start running. And then she responded really well. She finished really well the last part.
Helps that you know her quite well. Couldn't quite even pull her up though to get to the winner's circle. Had a little trouble.
Yeah, it was. So she's a little tough, She's you have to give it a hit a little bit, and then sometimes you just have to let her do whatever she want to do. Because if you pull a little bit on her, she want to get it stronger. But
Yeah.
I got it done right.
Difficult, girl, but you did, and you also got it done. We missed you here last weekend, but with Accelerate in the Pacific Classic, Joel, that was probably one of the best performances he's had thus far. What was he like to sit on out there at Del Mar?
Yeah, I was just the passenger. He was the best horse in the race, and then he just do his job. And it's glad to for John, and then for winning the Pacific Classic. When I was in California, he gave me a lot of opportunities. So I was really happy for him, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to ride him back here.
Looks like you might have a nice Breeders' Cup Classic horse going forward.
Yeah, we hope so. Yeah.
Well, Joel, well done here with Dream Passage as well. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Joel Rosario, he's picking up some nice horses towards leading into the Breeders' Cup.
Yes, he is, of course, filling in for the injured Victor Espinosa on Accelerate in the Pacific Classic, and that was a dominant performance from that horse in the signature race of the meet at Del Mar. Naira Betts, late pick 5, follow along, $145,000 in the pool. Expert started it off, $16.40. Odds-on favorite defeated, and now an even money favorite defeated in Lake 2.
Not a bad double, right? $50 and some odd cents for $2. So playing a little bit bigger than you think. I think Dream Passage, at least in the pick 5, will pay around 7-2, somewhere in that area.
Let's take a look at the difference between the Naira Betts late pick 5 payout and the pick 4 from yesterday. The pick 4 came back $1,694. Pick 5, $9,914. The only difference was Trustworthy in the pick 5 that paid $9.50 in a 6-horse field.
He was the main track only.
That sounded like you're still not over what happened.
Yeah, I'm still
you
not
okay?
over. Yeah, well, yeah.
All right. Saturday, Naira Betts late pick 5. I'm hurting too, pal. Usually on Saturdays, if you're the only winning ticket, no matter how much is in that pool, $300,000 minimum win going into your account. Travers Day, $1 million minimum if you're the only winning ticket. As you take a look at the Naira brass there, including President and CEO Chris Kay. Done a lot to make this Naira Betts late pick 5 the most popular wager in the country.
Mount Rushmore
Get
of Naira
on
right
board. There. Yes, it was. Our show brought to you in parts by the champion sprinter Run Happy. There he is on the farm at Claiborne in Paris, Kentucky. One of his best moments came here on this racetrack. He was 11-1 that day, and he beat a horse who we're going to see on Travers Day, running in one of the big sprint races. Beat Limousine Liberal, who was, I want to say, 15-1 that day. The exacta of Run Happy Limousine Liberal, $358 that day.
He left him in his wake, didn't he? He left everybody in his wake, and that was really truly his coming out party. And wow, what an effort. And there you see the 11 horses that are lined up for the Travers on Saturday in one of the best fields we've seen in a while, Greg.
Grade 1 Run Happy Travers presented by Naira Betts. Fantastic field, so many great storylines. And we're going to go through the entire group here, horse by horse, starting with Long Shot. Trigger warning for trainer Mike Rohn. He was just behind our colleague Tom Amos's Lone Sailor in the Grade 3 Ohio Derby.
He seems like he runs his race each time. They added Lasix 5 starts back to this colt by Candy Ride, and Mike Rohn has done a tremendous job of him, just missing the Indiana Derby. And like you said, he got beat by the Pete and Erden runner in the Ohio Derby.
Wonder Gadot, she's won at a mile and a quarter. She's beat the boys. She's trying to become the first filly to win this race since 1915.
Yeah, in over 100 years, Greg, and she has been the mile and a quarter, but this is going to be the strongest test to date. Her trainer, Mark Cassey, saying distance is the equalizer for her. She gets better with it.
Second state start for Gronkowski, and trainer Chad Brown says training as good as he has had him since he's been in the barn.
No, he's obviously has been training well, and he'll have to improve a little bit in his Belmont Stakes. Believe it or not, showed a mile and a quarter isn't too short for him, but he is probably going to get the pace he needs to close into. I believe he's a major player.
Bravazzo competed every step of the way in the Triple Crown, coming off a second to Good Magic in the Haskell for D. Wayne Lucas.
Yeah, the Calumet homebred, he really did turn it around in the Haskell, and sometimes I think he might need time between his races, but you can never count out the Hall of Famer D. Wayne Lucas.
Vino Rosso looked like he didn't want to run early in the Jim Dandy, and then he finally put his mind to it. He made up a ton of ground late for trainer Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, Todd Pletcher saying he wasn't really taking to the track in the first half of the race, but he really started to pick up steam. Was it because he was closing, or was it because Flame Away was stopping and Tenfold was gravitating to the outside rail?
Not many can claim this. Meistermind, the long shot, got a win at a mile and a quarter. It was a maiden win at Churchill, 2 starts back for Steve Asmussen.
Well, obviously, that's what the connections are hanging their hats on. They're saying he wanted a mile and a quarter, the distance is right. Well, they'll all get the distance. The question is how quickly. If this horse, Meistermind, wins this race, there will be a lot of people that left horses in the barn saying, why didn't I run?
King Zachary, sent out by Dale Romans. He comes out of the Grade 3 Indiana Derby. He was behind Trigger Warning in that race.
Yeah, he was 6th behind Vino Russell in the Wood Memorial, and then after that, he sort of turned it around a little bit in the Matt Winn and the Indiana Derby, but he'd have to take a monumental step against this group.
Aiden O'Brien, he's going to bring Mendelssohn back for more, trying to find that form that he showed in the UAE Derby.
Of course, high expectations set for this horse from the get-go, winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He was disappointing in the Kentucky Derby and unfortunately got chewed up in a crazy fast pace in the Dwyer. We'll see how he does, though, at a mile and a quarter.
And 2-year-old champ, Good Magic, trying to solidify his spot as a top 3-year-old still in training right now for Chad Brown.
He has that spot right now. We'll see if he has it after the Travers. A mile and a quarter probably tests the limits of his best effectiveness, but he showed the Derby he can handle it. Is he a horse, though, that runs too forwardly, too close to the pace to be his most effective in a race that may feature a quick pace?
Steve Asmussen, he has the Jim Dandy winner, and Tenfold won that race, but he bore out badly as he was doing a little eye-watching on the tote board.
Yeah, he is the wild card in this race, because I think talent-wise, he's up there with a lot of these horses, but is his mind ready to take on the Travers? If it's there, he's a contender.
And, of course, Catholic Boy, turf back to dirt. He was on the Triple Crown Trail for a while when he won the Remsen as a 2-year-old.
He's been such an exciting horse to watch, especially in the Pennine Ridge and the Belmont Derby, but both of those races were on the turf. He would really need to improve in order to beat this field on the dirt.
Run Happy Travers, of course, there's the Winning Silks, Gary and Mary West, painted on the canoe each and every year in the infield lake. West Coast would go on to become 3-year-old champion. What colors will that canoe be painted this year? A lot of intriguing storylines in here, of course. Among them, the filly. She's beaten the boys twice in Canada. Can she do it on Saturday?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it brings a lot of intrigue. A lot of people think she's got no shot. Some people think that she does have a big shot.
Exactas and doubles join forces Saturday for 2 incredible races in the Sword Dancer and Travers for that Exactaganza double. Hit the Exacta in the Sword Dancer and Travers, and you're going to hit or split 2 million points. That's $2,000 that you could add to your winnings. Go to Naira Bets for all the details. We're going to take a break in the action. A wide open 8th race is next. We'll be sprinting on the dirt. We'll talk about that next. And, of course, Chad Brown's dual threat in our feature, The Risk Averse. Tap it today. Coming in from Monmouth off back-to-back impressive victories, and Punked going postward for him.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Off the turn with a link to the half lead. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Comes Renown up the rail. Call Provisions alongside. Call Provisions in front. Focus Group on the outside. These two down to the line together. Who's it gonna be? It was Focus Group.
Focus Group with the win in Wednesday's John Call, running down stablemate Call Provision, who would get DQ'd from second with some interference calls there with, I believe it was Patterson Cross.
Yeah.
As we take a look at the trainer standings, Chad Brown, 32 victories, has doubled up. 7-time Eclipse Award winning trainer and last year's leading trainer at the meet, Todd Pletcher. Incredible what he has done, as he has a very strong chance to set the new record for victories here at this meet.
Yeah, it really does. It's pretty amazing. If you add up Steve Maskinson and Todd Pletcher's wins, they don't match what he has so far. Now, Shanghai Schwartz is going to be your favorite in this race. Tap it today, that's going to be close. But Identity Politics in the last is going to be your favorite, and I think that's going to be his best shot. Shanghai Schwartz in here is going to be tough, too.
Here's a look at Shanghai Schwartz. Last time out, got a win on a sloppy racetrack that was here at Saratoga back on July the 23rd, and just got up by a nose to win after dropping in for a tag for the first time.
And what I like about it is, listen, I understand the horse was in for 40, but they're also not dropping, going for the moon. They're dropping the horse in for 16. You want them, you can have them. Marty Schwartz has plenty of horses, and Javier Castellano would not be on this horse because of the drop, thinking that something's the matter with his horse. So that's a lot of things that are positive when it comes to Shanghai Schwartz. And this was his W, and he fought to get it, but he got it. Now he's in the non-2 level. He's going to maybe have to improve a tiny bit or run that same last race, and he'll be right there.
Well, did the slop move him up a little bit here?
Sure
Obviously, the drop in class helped. He wasn't even that highly regarded in that. He was 4-1 in that race. You see a big class dropper for Chad Brown. Still wasn't favored. Now he's got to face horses, well, he's stepping up, that are dropping in class.
I get it, but again, this is Chad Brown. This horse was 2.5-1 in Patrick Bean Cohn's barn at Gulfstream Park. So obviously, I'm not saying the same caliber horses, but the horse obviously was okay in the morning. And now Chad got him to win, and said, you know what? Let's get another W out of him before we give him to somebody else.
Now let's send it downstairs to Andy and Gabby. May the Schwartz be with you.
My theory, and I got confused, Gabby, a little with this earlier, but you figured it out. I think if Shanghai Schwartz wins, it's because he didn't like the slop last time, and he's really better than he ran the slop. Gabby and I are both big Led Zeppelin fans, and that's really the reason, not really, that we're picking, though we are Led Zeppelin fans. Jamaica, the #2 horse in here. And at the end of the day, Gabby, we have the same opinion. This horse is just taking a huge drop in class.
Huge drop in class. The favorite appears to be suspect. It just seems like Chad wants to get rid of this horse. He's not very fast. And Jamaica, yeah, he's dropping in class. Look at even past his last race. If you go back to his races that he was running up here at Saratoga, he was in the Albany against Twisted Tom, who, albeit is not in form, but was at the time, and Built to Suit, who was a pretty highly regarded horse at the time. So
even his last dirt race back at the end of 2017 on a good track, but he finished third to horses Benevolence and Mission Command. I mean, listen, we don't know if he still has that form, and Nick Zito is dropping him, and you don't know, but this is a horse that could just be better than these horses. The 4 Bronze Age for Ron McQuett has, I don't love horses that have to repeat their out-of-town form in New York and their sort of short prices, but you made a great point to me about Ron McQuett a little bit earlier today.
Yeah, he's been red hot lately. I mean, we have seen some trainers in the beginning half of the meet. They've been doing well, and then they've kind of cooled. And then there are trainers that have really picked up steam in the second half of the meet. Ron McQuett is definitely one of them. Kieran McLaughlin is one of them. There are several trainers, and it just goes without saying, the barn is hot. But I agree with you. He's been exposed against similar company before, and it just seemed like an easier field for the level than what he faces today.
It's a tricky race. There's no doubt about it. Use all the help we can get. Maggie Wolfendale is always available to offer some help.
Thanks, Andy. And what I like about Bronze Age, and while this is a non-2 life, Bronze Age has actually crossed the wire twice in first position in his career. He was DQ'd last time, arguable one in which the horse he did somewhat impede was tiring, but anyway, looking at him here in the paddock, Bronze Age to me looks like he should be one of the likely favorites. He is sharp in here. He's carrying his weight and coat and flesh well. And I think, as Gabby alluded to, you know, Ron McQuett's horses are running well, and they show it here physically. He looks as though he is ready for this race. And talking to Ron, he'd actually said that this horse was a scratch earlier on in the meet. He did have a bit of a fever before he was about to ship up from Churchill Downs, but this time around, everything has gone accordingly as Bronze Age shows up for this 16 tag. Moving on to the horse that Andy and Gabby like, and that is Jamaica for Nick Zito. I totally agree. And what's kind of has me scratching my head a little bit is that I've thought this horse has looked better in both of his starts of 2018 than he ever did last year, and he was running way better last year. So maybe the class drop is just what he needs. He's third off of that layoff. He looks extremely fit here. His coat is very good, which sometimes last year it didn't look that good. So I think Jamaica is just very, very logical as he sits at 9-2 on the board. But at 5-2, and your current favorite, that's number 8, Shanghai Schwartz, a horse who is a heavy type. He's about the heaviest and biggest Shanghai Bobby that I've ever seen. You know, he is a little bit more tucked up. I was kind of surprised he got the W last time, so I would think he'd actually move forward off of that race. And this is just a logical step as far as the next race for a trainer who is obviously trying to win the training title, which I don't think he'll have any trouble with this time around, Greg.
No, he is doubled up on his next closest competitor, that being Chad Brown, who sends out the favorite, the 8 in this race, Shanghai Schwartz. Meanwhile, taking a look here at the 7, Candyman Can Do. He actually broke his maiden first time out, and he did it against maiden special weights at Delaware. He'll drop down in class. He puts blinkers on. He cuts back in distance. A lot going on with the 7. A lot of reasons to like him. At 7-1 on the board, the man who'll be aboard, the meet's leading rider, Irad Ortiz Jr., looking for his 41st winner of the meet. We'll be back.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warthrock. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 mile at Keeneland, then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. His runners include stakes winner Saratoga, along with a growing list of talented young runners. At public auction, his yearlings have sold up to $200,000. Data Link, standing at Claiborne Park.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires, 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes, and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Batman is in the house, courtesy of the Saratoga Automobile Museum, located inside Saratoga Spa State Park. It opened back in 2002. 50s exhibit going on now, including this guy, that historic automobile. I used to watch that all the time.
Yeah, I know. Bam. Zoom and wham. It doesn't get any better than that.
I want to see it in action with the rockets on the back.
It's true. It'd be like running around. It actually would be like riding Run Happy.
Get signed up, get started, play along. $200 new member sign up bonus. Use the promo code Saratoga Live. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Our feature still to come. That's a risk averse in race number 9. But first things first, this 8th wide open group, field of 8, and the favorite for the meet's leading trainer, Chad Brown here. Shanghai Schwartz coming off that maiden claiming victory at Saratoga, but on a sloppy racetrack, now stepping up to face tougher. And you got a lot of class droppers here in this field. We were just talking off camera here during the break. We even thought we're going to see this one here in a moment. We thought this horse might be the speed of the race and might be able to get it done here at a big price. 12-1 on Foolish Ghost, trained by Bruce Brown. Mike Luzzy aboard.
Yeah, dropped for the $16,000 tag last time. Showed some pace and kept on okay. So 12-1 today.
Jermaker Blinkers coming off, trained by Nick Zito. Jose Lizcano aboard.
Taking a big drop in Class 2 to the $16,000 level today, and the first time in a long time he gets back to a fast main track.
Carmine's Honor, here he comes. Son of To Honor and Serve for Gary Contessa. 1-2 starts back to break his maiden at Belmont.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere, too, and he was bet that day. It was not a great field, but he put up a good time and a good number, so 9-1.
Bronze Age, Ricardo Santana Jr. riding for Ron Moquette.
Bronze Age trying to get the gold today for Ron Moquette, a barn that's really picking up steam so far this meet.
Zanato is on the board at 10-1, trained by James Bond. Luis Saez riding, son of Bluegrass Cat.
I didn't think it was that bad of an effort last time. I mean, I understand she got outrun by a couple of these in here, or one of them in here, but she probably needed that. And again, she won a race where she beat 14 horses.
Here's Go Big or Go Home for Gary Gullo with David Cohen in the irons.
Usually Gary Gullo, a very shrewd trainer off the claim, but this horse has not panned out in the last 2 starts.
Candyman Can Do for Gregory Sacco with the meet's leading rider aboard. Blinkers go on today.
Yeah, Blinkers go on, the son of Twirling Candy. You can argue maybe the sprints have been better if you draw a line through the 2 turf efforts, but the 2 turf efforts might be his best effort, so 7-1.
And Shanghai Schwartz for the meet's leading trainer, Chad Brown. Javier Castellano.
Won for 40, now drops in for 16. Second time for the leading trainer's barn. Maybe not a good sign.
So 5-2 on the favorite here, Shanghai Schwartz, for trainer Chad Brown. Andy Serling, what do we do with this horse?
You're supposed to bet against her. I understand using her in multi-race bets to stay alive, but it just feels like every Chad Brown horse takes more money than it should. And based on that maiden win, why is he 5-2 in this race? If you just took trainers out of it, right, and you looked at it, he wouldn't be 5-2.
And you were mentioning that, you know, maybe he didn't even like the sloppy sealed track, but still, to date, that was his best race.
Right. That's what I was joking about, is saying, you look at him and I say, well, I don't think he's really good enough to win of his last start, so I have to hope he didn't like the wet track and he's actually better in a dry track. Well, that's great if the horse is 12-1. It's not a great theory if the horse is 5-2. Listen, Chad Brown's horses are bet for a reason. He wins at a high percentage, and he gets the most out of his horses. But that doesn't mean a horse of this level is necessarily a good bet at 5-2. I thought the 7 Candyman Can Do was a little bit interesting in this race. He's not a miler. I love the cutback in distance for him. He ran the turf a couple times. He didn't even run that badly. Isn't his race before that, the June 2nd race at Monmouth, with a 69 buyer and a third-place finish behind a horse named 50, who had been a very solid runner for Linda Rice? His form has dissipated a bit. But Candyman Can Do, he's a little dirtied up, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. And the blinkers go on. I mean, he's pretty much facing the easiest company, at least in terms of sprinting, that he's faced throughout his career. And look at the progression. Look at the big leap that he took from his 2-year-old to 3-year-old season and his 3-year-old debut. So, you know, maybe they're just being realistic with this horse. I don't have a problem with him whatsoever at 7-1.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, as we throw it back upstairs to the guys upstairs to talk about this, you really, to find horses at prices, you've got to find horses that I call dirtied up, right? They've been running in the wrong races, wrong distance, wrong surface. And in my opinion, Candyman Can Do may fit that bill.
It certainly looks like it. I mean, first time out, sprinting. Has one of the better maiden scores of anybody in this field with that maiden special weight win at Delaware. So now back to sprinting. He gets blinkers on. Maybe he can be a little closer to the pace than he has been of late.
Yeah,
and a price.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought his last effort was okay. And sometimes those spread out fields like that end up being good fields. You're taking a look at the 2 Jamaica. And if you're into the house silks, the 2 and the 7 have their house silks on, which I mean by that is the Saratoga logo on the back of both of them. So Jamaica dropping for 16 with the blinkers on. I guess Nick Zito didn't want to put on the silks of maybe of being in the winner's circle.
Well, and this horse, talking about the 2 Jamaica.
And the 7 have it. I had a buddy that would never bet a horse with house silks.
How'd that work out for him?
Did okay.
4-1 on Jamaica, the 2 for Nick Zito. He's run some big efforts on our show, actually, late last year. Those primarily came on turf, but he does have ability on dirt as well. He is dropping in class. You're getting 4-1. Here's Bronze Age, another big contender. He's right at his morning line of 7-2. He comes in off of Victory Prairie Meadows.
Yeah, we saw another horse from Ramo Quet go to the front end that we didn't think would earlier in the week and went gate to wire.
Or was DQ'd, I should say.
It was actually DQ'd, yeah. And I would think Bronze Age is going to show some pace here early today.
All right, 7-2 on Bronze Age. Our 8th race coming up in our feature, the Risk Averse. Still to come. Welcome to Saratoga Live on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. It is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Feature race today, it is the 9th. That is the Risk Averse at a mile over the inner turf right now. It's race 8 coming up, just 3 minutes to post. Greg Wolf, along with Paula Duca. We have Gabby Gaudet, Andy Serling downstairs, and Maggie Wolfendale as well. But this 8th race coming up, we've been talking about it a lot. For those just joining us, welcome. But it appears to be wide open, and it seems like most of us seem to be taking a stand against Chad Brown, Shanghai Schwartz, who's favored on the outside.
Well, horse that won by a nose last time out and a maiden 40, now drops for 16 and won by a nose over a sloppy racetrack. So we don't know if this colt's going to be better on, I guess, faster or not, and whether these other horses are going to step up and try to beat him. Now, he didn't run a giant number, so the other horses are in his league already. So That's probably why the public is thinking 5-2 is about reasonable.
Yeah, we all agree he could win, but that price probably a little bit too short for any of us to take here. With more on a horse who's a much better price, Candyman Can Do. That is the 7 in here. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And Candyman Can Do, I'm a little bit betwixt and between. He does get some class relief. But going back and watching his last dirt sprint, which was off of a layoff, in which he could have been tiring, to me, he lugged in a bit. And he kind of did the same thing, albeit going longer last time out on the dirt. But then 2 starts ago, they put on the front bandages. Putting front bandages on the turf, you usually don't see that as far as a protective move, as far as, you know, because horses don't run down on the turf. There isn't that friction between, you know, their ankles, their sesamoids, and the surface and the grass. It's only on the dirt. So right there, I'm a little bit suspect. He's wearing them here again for the 3rd start in a row, and he just looks okay here. To me, I know he's a big price, and I get that. I'm a little bit suspect of this guy, as the horse to his inside is number 6, Go Big or Go Home, and he is just that. You need to go big leaving the gate, because he's not a horse who likes to pass others. He needs to be ridden aggressively. Whether he is capable of doing that, I'm not sure, but David Cohen did give him a pretty aggressive warm-up, which I appreciate. But then again, guys, it's not as if he's very sharp. The one thing, though, in his favor is that a couple starts ago, I thought he started to look a bit weak behind the saddle, as if he wasn't going to leave there quite as alertly. And this time around, he's starting to build that muscle mass back up. So we'll see with Go Big or Go Home. He's a decent price on the board as well.
Yeah, he's 5-1 right now with David Cohen. Next door, he's got a horse that could show some pace in Zenato the 5. We talked about the rail. Foolish Ghost could show some pace, and even Carmine's Honor the 3 could show some speed.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this could be a race where they all go towards the front end, and then what happens when they come down the lane the last quarter of a mile?
Yeah, it's a little hard. I mean, predicting paces is so hard because obviously it depends on the start. It depends on riders, trainers' instructions. As you said, Foolish Ghost has to go from the inside. I disagree with you and don't think he's a contender, but that's what makes horse racing go around. Bronze Age is a horse that could be forwardly placed. What about Zenato, Gabby, 2nd off the layoff?
Yeah, Zenato, I mean, they went with this horse a little bit last time out, so I think he's going to be forwardly placed. There could be a scenario where there could be 4 horses vying for the lead or 1.
Right. It's so hard. It does seem, and I think you guys might agree, the more speed there looks like on paper, the slower the pace is, yeah. And the less speed, the faster the pace is sometimes.
Yeah, how many times has that happened to us? There's 4 or 5 speeds in a race, and it's one horse who gets a clear lead, goes to the front, and just keeps on going.
Well, the other part of that is when you're at the 16 non-2 level, let's be honest, they're at this level for a reason. So when you have a race loaded with pace and a horse clears, it can break their heart. It can break their heart. Now you got one closer here. The 3 in here is an interesting horse, Carmine's Honor, because I think Rosario will take him back and maybe try to rate and run on late. Now, is he good enough? That one race that made in 25 could be good enough. At 12-1, he's the longest shot on the board. But I just can't take 5-2 on anybody in here, so you might as well maybe shoot for the moon. Maybe even shoot for the horse you think is going to come from way behind, or maybe the speed of the speed.
You know, we know right here, this guy, Mike Luzzy, has got to go from the inside post. It's the only chance you would think he had. He went 7 furlongs, Foolish Ghost, last time out. Shortens up to 6 today. The theory goes, maybe the speed will last 6. Didn't last going 7. We'll see. 3rd off a very short layoff, but getting double-digit odds right now.
Yeah, and he's going to get sent from the inside. And, like, listen, I have the same theory as the 2 downstairs. Listen, they're thinking Jamaica is taking the blinkers off, going to sit back. The 2 and the 3 are going to be last and second to last probably in this race, and they're hoping for everything to develop up front. And Jamaica, listen, he's been running against so much better. He should swallow these late if he gets the pace.
It's 3rd off a layoff for Jamaica. For trainer Nick Zito. They've tried this blinkers off move with him before, the 2 horse, on several occasions. And to this point, it has not worked. We'll find out if today is the day. A lot of that finding the right field, and this just might be the right field. There's the 2 stepping in Jamaica with that equipment change with Jose Lizcano. Favorite, though, Shanghai Schwartz for the meet's leading trainer, the 8 horse, son of Shanghai Bobby, coming off that maiden score right here at Saratoga on the sloppy track. Can he handle the fast main going and better company? We're going to find out right now. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call. Here's Larry Colmus.
Here's Shanghai Schwartz moving up to the outside stall at odds of 5-2, and they're all in line. They're off. And it's Foolish Ghost on the inside with Bronze Age right alongside, out for the lead together. Outside of them, Zenato is away running in third position. Go Big or Go Home, Candyman Can Do, and outside of them, Shanghai Schwartz, only 3 lengths off the lead. Break of another 3 to Carmine's Honor and Jamaica on the inside, past the half-mile pole. Foolish Ghost and Mike Luzzy up top here, 22.37 that first quarter mile. The lead is 3/4 of a length over Bronze Age running in second. Shanghai Schwartz is third and progressing on the outside. Zenato is fourth. Go Big or Go Home is fifth. Carmine's Honor circling up 3 wide, 5 from the front. And then it's Candyman Can Do and a very wide Jamaica. Foolish Ghost taking to the top of the stretch in front. Ran a half mile in 45.64 seconds. And Shanghai Schwartz is on the move on the outside. Now second, and Carmine's Honor is putting in a bid down the center. Foolish Ghost is still there, holding off this competition so far. And opening up 2 here on Shanghai Schwartz, who's trying to close in once again. Foolish Ghost, Shanghai Schwartz is coming. Shanghai Schwartz is gonna get up in the last strides. Running down Foolish Ghost. And then it was Carmine's Honor, and Bronze Age was fourth.
Well, Foolish Ghost had to go from the inside. Almost got it done. Big effort, but in the end, Shanghai Schwartz, the favorite at 5-2, gets the win.
And Paul was mentioning that whoever decides to get to the lead first might just have that level of confidence that can keep them going to the finish line. And Foolish Ghost ran a tremendous race. It was a quick pace, but couldn't hold back the closing run of the favorite.
Yeah, listen, I like Mike Luzzy, but he kept going right-handed, right-handed, right-handed. I was waiting for him to go to the left-handed stick to try to get something extra out of the one. Just never went there. I mean, you could see the work done on the 8 here, Shanghai Schwartz, but you can't keep hitting the horse on the same side. You gotta, when the horse is stopping, you gotta try something else, but the favorite got the job done.
Favorite got the job done. She was there. The Chad Brown horses, they run their best races. It's one of the reasons they win. Didn't look like he was going to get there. Tough beat for Mike Luzzy and Bruce Brown. Don't know what else they could have done. He ran a very gritty race to get beaten here. He and Shanghai Schwartz are just about the only 2 horses that showed up.
33rd win at the meet for trainer Chad Brown. Gets it done with a favorite in here. Well, that's a tough beat if you had Foolish Ghost in this spot. 8, 1, 3, 4. Shanghai Schwartz now back-to-back victories. We'll be back with the prices, and we will set up our feature race, the Risk-Averse, right after this.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. Now his flashy first crop yearlings are turning heads with a striking resemblance to their internationally successful sire. The sky's the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York sired New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time. To Belmont, adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Back on Saratoga Live, our feature race, the Risk Averse, is coming up. Trainer Chad Brown, he'll send out 2 3-year-old fillies, including Tap It today. Her last 2 starts, she has been lights out at Monmouth against considerably easier competition. Is she up to the task today in her stakes debut?
Well, the Monmouth horses that have come over here have done well, and this great daughter, Tap It, has done nothing wrong on the turf. Her first turf start, she had a little bit of issues at Gulfstream Park, but her last 2 turf starts, she's had no such thing as an issue.
Well, Chad Brown, he just picked up his 33rd winner of the meet. Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
That's right, padding the stats just a little more here with Chad Brown and Shanghai Schwartz. Chad, he's a horse that broke his maiden last time and then got the job done and actually ran even better on the fast track.
He did. In the second start off a layoff, he definitely moved forward. Horse ran great. Unfortunately, he was claimed, but we had him in the right spot, I think, and best of luck to whoever claimed him.
Now, Chad, you have a huge weekend coming up, obviously sending out the 2 in the Travers. I'm very interested in Gronkowski. He's a horse that, did he surprise you in that Belmont performance?
You know, I was curious, and I wouldn't say it was a surprise, because he had been training really well, but there's so many unknowns. To just put him in the Belmont, go to mile and a half in the dirt for the first time, I was real curious to see what he was going to do, but he worked well enough to really make me curious, and I was cautiously optimistic he would put a good run in.
Well, it looks as though he might put another good one in, and obviously sending out good magic too. But tomorrow, New York Bred Showcase Day, you have the likely favorites in the Yaddo and the West Point. The Yaddo with 55. She's been pretty good this year.
She has real consistent horse, and I'll tell you, she's gotten a lot bigger and stronger this year. You know, we take these New York bred grass horses, we normally turn them out in the winter and bring them back, and I'll tell you, with her, she's really filled out and improved, and you know, I think she's well spotted tomorrow.
Offering Plan as well. He's one that last year he just couldn't quite get the job done, but he is coming off of a win going back to last time in the New York Bred Showcase. And do you think he's just a horse that's taken that step forward and can rule this division this year?
I think he has. He's old enough now. He should have it figured out by now, this horse. Grumpy, we call him around the barn. He's not. Yeah, this guy's a little grumpy, this guy. You gotta be careful around him. But, you know, he puts in that good late kick. It looks like the turf will be firm. I know he's been okay with softish ground, but I'll tell you, he prefers firm ground. We're going to have it for him. He has good late kick. He's very trip dependent, though, with his running style. He can find trouble sometimes, and other times when he gets clear, he shows his best, so hopefully he gets a good trip.
Well, Chad, best of luck with all your runners this weekend. Congrats here, and looking forward to your next couple that we have in the next 2 races.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, guys, Chad Brown looking to secure that trainer's title this year. It looks as though he's well on his way.
Well, and he's looking to get his first Travers as well, a race that means more to him than any race in the world. And, of course, Maggie brought up Gronkowski. Going to have a new rider. Jose Ortiz gave that horse that $1 million ride in the Belmont. Of course, he'll be on Good Magic, so now Joel Rosario on Gronkowski.
Yeah, and he fits in perfectly with that late-style run. So it's like Chad's got a lot of bullets in the holster, and he got Shanghai Schwartz home to get his first win of the day. A Shanghai Bobby of Maria's Mon mare. Well, that's pretty apropos. Red Hot Maria is the name of the mare for a red hot trainer.
Absolutely. Naira Betts late pick 5 follow along. Our first favorite in the sequence.
Yeah.
But it took everything Shanghai Schwartz had to get there. To get by that 11-01 shot, Mike Lezian, Foolish Ghost, trying to steal the race on the front end, just gets run down late. So now you saw Chad Brown on the board with his first winner of the day, his 33rd winner of the meet. He'll have 2 3-year-old fillies going postward in this race. Neither of them right now favored. The favorite in our Risk Averse, Good Things Take Time, who has been battle-tested coming out of the Grade 3 Lake George.
Yeah, she's been facing just really nice fillies. Rushing Fall, Get Stormy, and Daddy is a Legend. So the company that she has kept is superior to the other horses in here. But Tap It Today and Monte Cristo, the 4 and the 5 in here, are very much players. And you can't leave the other Chad Brown out. Punked.
We're going to take a break in the action. Our feature race still to come on Run Happy Travers Week here at Saratoga. We're going to preview some of the big stakes races coming up this weekend. Aside from the Travers, the Personal Ensign, Elate looking to get back to work. And in the Sword Dancer, Spring Quality. We'll talk about those races next.
They're off. At the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Long's got a turn with a link for the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
The dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe, running a 105 buyer and winning by open lengths. Mastery, new for 2018 at Claiborne Farm.
Run Happy and Edgar Prado. They've got a 2-length lead as they come down to the 16th pole. It's Run Happy in front. Limousine Liberal, Holy Boss can't get him. Run Happy has won the Naira.com King's Bishop by 4.
I'll tell you, Run Happy's performance in the King's Bishop, which is now the Alan Jerkins Gabby, it was overshadowed because American Pharaoh ran that day, and of course he also lost. That performance by Run Happy, that might have been the single best performance any 3-year-old put in the country that year.
I know. That was an incredible performance and really an amazing career that he had. He accomplished so much so fast. And, you know, we were talking about this, too, that Alan Jerkins, now that it is called, comes up to be such a fun race. These types of races for 3-year-olds that they're cutting back from the Triple Crown campaign.
It's a smorgasbord of tremendous racing, and it starts off with the Alan Jerkins, the 6th race in the 13-race card, a Grade 1, and promises fulfilled on the inside. He's the worst to beat, but for Frenzy Fire, of course, that's not his colors, actually, Frenzy Fire, and he's going out for trainer Jason Service. He was spectacular in the Dwyer last time.
I'm going to bring a word back that you haven't used in a long time. He ran like a wildebeest,
yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah. No.
I mean, this was a tremendous performance. And Jason Service saying that, you know, the owners wanted to try the Kentucky Derby. They wanted to do these things, these fun races with him. But the long and short of it, they were waiting for him to turn back in distance. And this is where it came from. And not only that, he got a fast pace to run into that day.
The argument for him is that when he's running the proper races around one turn, and they kind of got carried away with that Triple Crown stuff, he's been very, very tough. But promises fulfilled based on his last race. If he runs his race in the Amsterdam last time, it's almost impossible for him to lose. And at the end of the day, Gabby, assuming he breaks cleanly from the rail, he is the controlling speed. There is nobody even in a full-out drive that could run with him.
And you know what's funny? Is it fair to say that he's like the 3-year-old sprinter of Diversify? The faster he goes, the better he gets. I mean, he can go incredibly fast, take pace pressure, and keep on going. And the funny thing is, in Alan Jerkins, I don't really see anybody that can run with him.
There's nobody that can run with him in there. He is going to be very tough to beat. But there are others in there. Gabby and I both think Long Shot Telekinesis has a chance. The Personal Ensign, named for one of my favorite racehorses of all time, features a matchup we've been waiting for since last year. I know that Abel Tasman and Elate met in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and they ran 2nd and 4th. But this match of the CCA Oaks was one for the ages.
And this was a little bit controversial as we see Mike Smith come over and make things a little bit tight for Jose Ortiz and Elate coming down the stretch. But I do think that this was Elate's breakout performance that really changed things for her.
The Alabama was a breakout. This was the one that was like setting her up for the Alabama.
It was like a hint of the talent that she has.
And Abel Tasman, I think, should have come down, but she still ran the better race that day. She ran very well. She was sensational in the Phipps. I think that Elate got what she wanted out of the Delaware. A great matchup of 2 top fillies. The Kettle One Ballerina. This is a very interesting race, and they're going to have to catch Finley's Lucky Charm. Lewis Bay, who won the Better Roses back at Belmont Park. Let me ask you a question. Was this just a situation when American Gal, the heavy favorite, didn't show up, that Lewis Bay found a field she could dominate, or did the light go off on a horse who, frankly, has hung more often than not?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fair question. Maybe she did meet the right field. I mean, she's going to be meeting a lot tougher than just Highway Star and Corinne come Saturday. She is one of the main contenders, but Marley's Freedom for Bob Baffert, who's shipping in from the West Coast, looks like a formidable favorite.
You know, Marley's Freedom's a funny horse. Her race 2 back will beat this field. The rest of her races, I don't know so much.
Where she got a
I
fast
thought she
pace.
was the morning line favorite. I think Finley's Lucky Charm will be and should be favored. She's the controlling speed, and she has been sensational, guys, as a 5-year-old.
Yes, she certainly has. Got to look at her here at this meet and put in a huge performance. We're going to talk about older horses going in the Grade 1 Forego at 7/8 of a mile, along with a couple other races coming up here. But Limousine Liberal, 3-1. We'll have the Rail, of course, City of Light, 9-5. Morning line favorite of this race from the outside. But let's look at Limousine Liberal, winner of the Belmont Sprint Championship, beaten Whitmore back on July the 7th.
Yeah, when he brings his A game, he's as tough as any. Now, he hasn't brought his A game to Saratoga. You saw his 2nd place finish behind Run Happy. Nobody was beating Run Happy that day, but he's a tough customer. He brings his game most all the time. 15 for 23 in the exacta. The worry is he draws the dreaded Rail in this race, so he might have to get pushed from the outset. Although the older he's gotten, he's learned to rate.
Sword Dancer, look at the field for this Grade 1. Win and you're in at 1.5 miles over the inner turf. In Spring Quality for Graham Motion, surprised a lot of people in that Grade 1 Manhattan win on Belmont Stakes Day.
Yeah, Edgar Prado came into town to ride 1 horse that whole weekend. It happened to be Spring Quality. They paid $38 to win. This was to work on Monday. Been working well since. Graham Motion got his win here at the meet, and they draw a way better post in the 2 for the Sword Dancer.
Graham Motion talked about opening weekend of this meet, how tough the Diana is to win for him. He had a tough beat in there again this year. Manhattan has been very good to him. He won it with Ascend, monster upset a few years ago, and he won it with this horse at 18-1 this year. So we'll see if Spring Quality can follow it up with another big performance here this weekend. Ballston Spa, 12th race on the Run Happy Travers Day card. Grade 2 at 1 mile and 16th on the turf. And a Raving Beauty for Chad Brown. Just missed against Sister Charlie in the Grade 1 Diana opening weekend.
Yeah, might have been obviously unlucky. And you're going to see right here, going into the far turn, ton of run right here, and then it's just going to have to stop. I mean, basically stop on a dime. Now, that it cost her the race, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I think it does. When you have to really take a horse that far back, I mean, in that late in the race, when you've already exerted a lot of energy, I just think it took a lot of the late punch out of her. And I think maybe if she gets a better trip today, she's going to be ultra tough. But again, she's losing to a horse in Sister Charlie, who's quality.
Yeah, one of the best fillies and mares on the turf in the entire country since she has come here for trainer Chad Brown. It's going to be great. Run Happy Travers Day, 6 Grade 1s on the card. Tremendous day of betting action, and we'll talk plenty more about it tomorrow on the show as well. So we hope you join us. We're on early on Saturday. I want to remind everybody as well, we come on at 1 Eastern time on Travers Day. We're going to send it downstairs now to Maggie Wolfendale. Paddock report time for our feature race coming up. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Byron for $15,000 as we go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And the $100,000 here on the line for today's Risk Averse for these 3-year-old turf fillies. I want to start off by talking about two kind of new faces here as far as the NYRA circuit is concerned, including one of two Chad Brown trainees and number 4, Tap It Today. Now, the jury's still out on what she actually beat in her efforts down at Monmouth Park, but she did it the right way by open lengths, and that's what you want to see. I'm impressed by what I see here. She's a solid daughter of Tap It. She's showing great energy here. So I don't think, she's going to be one that's necessarily pace compromised. She should be able to sit mid-pack and still have that late kick. Number 5, Monte Krista, is your current 3-1 favorite here for trainer Mike Trombetta. And she was impressive in her Maryland and Jersey starts, then went to Indiana, got caught behind a slow pace in which she didn't break well. But hopefully she breaks well here today because she looks phenomenal. She's just very athletic, super coat and flesh to her, and just kind of that calm confidence that I always love to see, especially with these young fillies. And then finally, checking in with number 8, Sweet Sting for Jimmy Jerkins. Did not disgrace herself last time in facing older fillies and mares for the first time, but I think a flat mile is this filly's optimal distance. She's a little bit more stout and compact, but she just carries that flesh so well for Jimmy Jerkins, who is looking to keep things pretty hot here towards the latter half of this Saratoga meet, guys.
All right, thank you, Maggie. Yeah, Jimmy Jerkins, we talked about it on the show yesterday. He had won with the last 5 horses he had sent out. That streak came to an end with Rocketry yesterday. As we take a look at Jimmy Jerkins with Manny Franco there and sending out one of your key contenders, Sweet Sting, in this race. That is the 8-horse, 9-2 on the board. 10% winner's bonus trifecta coming up in our stakes race, the Risk Averse today. You download NYRA Bets app, available in the App Store or for Android on NYRABets.com. NYRA Bets offers a 10% winner's bonus on a selected stake every single day of the meet as we send it downstairs to Andy and Gabby.
Well, Gabby and I will talk first about the couple horses that we like in this race. I do like Sweet Sting, and there's no argument from either one of us that good things take time. It's probably the horse to beat. I think Sweet Sting, a horse who's gradually been getting better in each of our starts for a trainer, Jimmy Jerkins, whose horses are running very well. I think she's been pointed towards this race, and I'll tell you, the horse who beat her, and I know she beat her easily last time, La Moneda, she's second choice tomorrow likely in the Yotto, and I think she'd be about 1-9 in this race.
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt about that. La Moneda has been in tip-top form recently. The thing about Sweet Sting, I do think, though, Andy, she's going to have to improve. What race to date shows you that with a little bit of improvement, she can win here?
Well, with a little improvement, her last race says she can win here. It's good things take time she has to beat. Her last race, to me, has her faster than everybody else. Now, you like a horse, Monte Cristo, and I respect her. I don't like her at 3-1. I think she's overbet. She's probably supposed to be about 5 or 6-1, but she is a horse that did not get the best of trips last time.
I will agree with all that. 3-1 is not any bit of a bargain on a filly like this, but her race 2 starts back, albeit it was against Maryland breds. The way she won that race, the rider Julian Pimentel never even moved. She had her ears pricked to the wire. She just looks like a filly that had a lot of talent. And last time out, she broke lethargic. Julian Pimentel never really made any bit of an effort to get her in the game. It was a slow pace, and she went wide, so a really tough trip for this.
Oh, I don't disagree. I think these are tougher horses, but I think she ran very well in that race and absolutely think she can win. She's just an underlay right now. But the horse who's going to be favored by post time is actually Chad Brown's horse, the 4 Tap It Today. The horse we think is supposed to be favored is the 9 Good Things Take Time, who, as we talked about earlier, she was close to a pace that fell apart against much tougher in the Lake George last time, and frankly, she's the one who's taken a class drop in here.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about La Moneda, who is excellent, but look at Daddy's is a legend, and Altia, I mean, and she was involved in that pace that collapsed, and even 2 starts back, a similar situation. And I left a mile for her, too. So, 7-2, I think, is a fair price on a filly like this.
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. I think she's a very generous. She just went to 3-1. The amazing thing is, though, that by post time, now, I will say one thing about the double with the 4, Chad Brown's horse, the Tap It horse. That might be a Chad Brown situation because he won the last race.
Post break coming up for our feature race here. And we're going to kick things off in the risk-averse with Long Shot on the rail. Here is Quaff, daughter of Into Mischief, for Bobby Roboto with John Velasquez aboard.
Got a perfect trip to break her maiden. Beginning of this meet, it feels like about a year ago. This is a big step up, but she drew well.
Madam X, big long shot coming in off a victory at Delaware from the clouds last start for Susan Cooney. Jose Lizcano rides.
Yeah, exactly, and didn't get that much of a pace to close into. She is a long shot, though. She'd have to improve a lot.
Tap it today. Here is one of the two Chad Brown fillies, Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
Impressive victory last time out, and overall Monmouth to Saratoga numbers for Chad Brown this meet have been good.
Monte Krista, sent out by Mike Trombetta, finished behind a filly who's won 4 of 5 for Joe Sharp last start.
She, as Gabby alluded to, had a tough trip last time out, and she's been running well, but this is a tough spot.
Barkley Tag sends out Ferdinanda, daughter of Giants Causeway, with Luis Saez.
Good performance last time out, considering she had a much wider trip than the winner. You just have to question the mile for her.
The other Chad Brown filly, Punked, has Javier Castellano aboard, struggled in the Lake George.
You know, I'm going to dismiss her last race. It was too bad to be true. She was a bit of a pace victim, and I don't think Chad Brown would run her back if he thought she would run as poorly again. And her prior races give her a chance.
Sweet Sting on the board at 9-2 for trainer Jimmy Jerkins and Manny Franco aboard.
And this is the horse that Andy's opting for at 9-2. There's one thing's for sure. Jimmy Jerkins has been in fine form in the second half of the Saratoga meet.
Madaket Stables send out Good Things Take Time, coming out of the Lake George as well. Was third behind Daddy is a Legend for Jorge Abreu.
She's favored now, and she's supposed to be favored. She has simply been facing the toughest fields and running well in those races.
And going out, trained by Michael Matz, Julian Leperoux in the irons. Blinkers come off.
She just needs to improve to beat a field like this, and drew a tough outside post, but she is a big price.
19-1. Meanwhile, Monte Krista, the 5 filly, on the board at 7-2. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale for more.
Pleased to be joined here in the paddock by Monte Krista's trainer and Mike Trombetta. And Mike, this is a filly that is coming in off a bit of a troubled trip there in the Tawi Stakes out at Indiana Grand. Talk a little bit about the start and how it affected her throughout the running of that race.
Well, she got away slowly. She was pinched back at the break, and it really compromised her early, so he didn't rush her off her feet. And then, unfortunately, they slowed the pace down tremendously, so that just made a bad situation worse. She put in her run, but she had to go maybe 6-7 wide to do it, and it just cost her. It was just bad circumstances.
Now, before that, she was utterly dominant in her Maryland and Monmouth performances. It's a filly with real talent. Do you feel as though she can kind of recreate that coming into this risk-averse?
Well, that's what we're hoping. You know, I really believe if she would have had a little bit more luck on her side, she would have continued to do well in Indiana. So we put this on our schedule, and here we are.
Have to be confident with Jose Ortiz taking them out.
Yeah, he worked her the other day, and he really liked her, so he did get a little familiar with her.
Well, Mike, wishing you the best of luck. Taking some money, it's always a good sign.
Yep, thank you very much.
All right, guys, Mike Trombetta will send out Monte Krista here in this risk-averse as she looks to get back to her winning ways on the turf.
Thank you, Maggie. You love to hear that Jose Ortiz got aboard her for a work. That was a bullet drill on the turf. Best of 47 back on August the 16th.
Yeah, she's been working well. And listen, if you watch that last trip, like Gabby was saying, this horse should probably be undefeated on the turf. And it's hard to throw a filly like that out. And I get it. She needs to step up to beat maybe Tappas today, to beat Good Things Take Time, maybe Sweet Sting the 8. But she belongs with them, and this is the time to test, you know?
Let's see if she can take a forward move here this afternoon. Coming in from Indiana, she has won on the turf at Laurel and at Monmouth. Had that tough trip last time out in that stakes race. But she's been very good. 3 for 4 lifetime record on the grass. And right now, second choice on the board. Pace-wise, obviously, this race with a 10 coming out kind of changed things a lot in this group here. So we'll see who's going to go to the front. That 2-horse might be the only one with any kind of speed at all. But Good Things Take Time. Another logical one. Who is the favorite on the board right now? That is the one to beat. Andy's been saying it throughout here, and she is the most battle-tested of any filly in this group.
She really is. And, like, so when you look at her, you know, she won her first race here in North America. She won at Del Mar. Then she gets transferred over to Jorge Abreu barn, and she's just been facing killer after killer. I mean, like Rushing Fall and Get Stormy. Daddy is a legend. She's been up on the pace, and I think this is a tiny bit, obviously, a class release for her. So maybe she's the one that sits in that nice little stalking spot, depending on who wants to go out and maybe contest the lead. Maybe Punked uses some of her early speed like she used last time to set up for Tappet today. I don't know.
So 3-1 favorite. There is Good Things Take Time. Meanwhile, Andy, Tappet today for Chad Brown. Holding steady on the board here at 7-2. And now this big test today, trying stakes action for the first time.
The water gets a lot deeper in today's risk averse, but she did draw well. She drew the three, she's in the 3-post, breaking. She's number 4 from the 3-post, and she's got positional speed, which isn't going to hurt her. And she's been running well. She's being lesser, but she can win this race. And to be honest, Gabby, 7-2 isn't a terrible price on her. She's not a big underlay here.
No, and yeah, I guess you have to question, the fields that she's faced at Monmouth, but even beyond that, and this is what you really like to see in turf fillies, especially, is how they win their races. And the pace held together last time out. She circled the field wide, and she was dominant. So that just goes to show you that maybe even with a step up or two in class, that she won't win by 4 lengths, but she's still capable against tougher.
Yeah, no, listen, the risk averse is always a race where you have a horse. I mean, you have a horse like the number 9 horse, Good Things Take Time, and you have a horse like Tappet Today. One is dropping out of tougher races, and Tappet Today is trying to move forward. And it's an interesting question, who will move forward, or will it just be the class drop? Because this is a race that's important to say. It's not just restricted to 3-year-olds, but it's also horses that have not won a sweepstakes at a mile or over. So we're not looking at tough stakes battled horses.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a very interesting mix of horses, and Tappet Today is one that's trying to take that step forward.
Well, they were talking about the pace scenario in here too, and obviously with the 10 being out, Kitten's Cover Girl, she looked like she was in a position to control. But what do you do with the pace? Because Punked obviously was in that heated battle last time out in the Lake George, and Good Things Take Time showed a lot of speed, and they went fast early. So could one of these two maybe find themselves in a position close?
I don't know. I got to tell you, Gabby, I find it very hard to read, because if you look at like the pace figures, Timeform US has, though 10 scratched was clearly the speed, has Quaff as the speed. I mean, maybe Quaff will go from the rail, John Blasquez will go, but if a horse like Quaff goes, she's just not good enough to win, so that doesn't really do much good. I mean, could a horse like Madam X go? I don't know. I find this a very murky pace scenario and a very difficult race to read for that reason.
Oh, that's why I don't mind Monte Cristo, because she does, I know she was far off the pace last time out with a poor break, but she's actually pretty versatile in her running style.
It'll be interesting, guys. I mean, I don't know. I think looking at the pace, guys, it just feels like we're guessing.
Well, I don't know. You look at the 2 a little bit, and this is actually a filly who's shown ability on the lead, sprinting at 5.5 furlongs on the turf. You have Jose Lezcano now in the irons. We've seen him run off on leads on this turf course before many a time. In fact, with Voodoo Song as well most recently. So maybe it's the 2. I don't know if the 2 can hang on and is good enough to win this race. But who goes with that horse if that one decides to go?
I thought Gabby made a good point, because the 5 Monte Cristo has shown some tactical speed, and you can even argue that Tappet Today, the 4, has shown some tactical speed. The 9, I just feel, those splits, 46 behind Get Stormy is not going to be too far behind this group. I see this 9 maybe sitting 2nd or 3rd in here, if that. And then, the 9 Ferdinanda, I know broke slow last time, but that horse is not a slow horse. Just got off to a bad break last time.
The 6 Ferdinanda.
The 6, excuse me, yes, yeah.
Let's send it downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale for more.
Thanks, guys. And actually, Ferdinanda will be my pick in here. She's a filly that in her last 2 starts was, as far as demeanor is concerned, over the top. She got incredibly wound up in both appearances in the paddock here at Saratoga and back at Belmont. And before that, as far as figures are concerned, she was running right on par with some of the main contenders here, and she is 9-1 as of now. She looks sensational. I was talking to Barkley Tagg, and he said, look, as a personal thing, I'd like to see my horses a little bit more calm, not dancing around on their toes. Does it mean it's a good thing? He said, I don't know, but I prefer her how she is here today going into this risk averse. I'm just going to take a shot here, guys. I like when I notice changes in these horses.
All right, on the board at 7-1 right now off that last click. Daughter of Giants Causeway, and she is a trier, isn't she? 2nd last time out, 2nd beat a neck, 2nd beat a nose in 3 of her last 4 starts.
Yeah, she seems like she's the type of filly that's really tough to ride. And so Louis Saez did a great job not giving up on her last time, because she really did not get off to the best beginning for the first quarter of a mile,
Loading up for a feature race. It is the risk-averse. A mile over the inner turf. And it is the 9 filly for Jorge Abreu. Good things take time. Coming out of the Grade 3 Lake George last start, who was the favorite on the board. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown. For the call, Larry Colmus.
Good things take time goes into the starting gate. And now Tap It Today has gone to the favorites roll at 5-2. As going out moves into line. They're all in line, ready for a start. They're off in the risk-averse. And it's Madam X and Quaff breaking well. Tap It Today is up and on the pace. There goes Monte Cristo to join them. Ferdinandez there on the outside. The break of 2 back to Sweet Sting, who is in mid-pack early on, racing for that turn. Punked is right in there, too. Good Things Take Time is second last, and going out trails the field. And the gray is about 6.5 lengths off of front-running Madam X, who's prompted up front by Monte Cristo as they head to the backstretch through a 24.85 opening quarter mile. Then it's Quaff running on the inside of Tap It Today, and Ferdinandez just outside of them. Punked is along the hedge and just 4 lengths off the lead. Very tight pack here. Sweet Sting is next to her, and then a well-held Good Things Take Time on the outside. The trailer is going out only 6 lengths from top to bottom as they continue through this first half mile in 50.44 seconds. Not much tempo up top here. Madam X, a long shot leader in front by a neck over Monte Cristo racing for the far turn. Quaff, Tap It Today, Ferdinanda across the track. Punked, Sweet Sting, and Good Things Take Time across the track behind them. And then going out at the back of the pack, a new leader emerges here as Monte Cristo takes charge as they come to the top of the stretch. Ferdinanda, Tap It Today right behind. Quaff is down on the inside. Trying to make up some ground is Punked in between horses. But it is now Monte Cristo and Jose Ortiz opening up the lead by 3, now 4. Tap It Today has moved up into second, and these two will be 1-2 as they come down to the wire. It's going to be Monte Cristo to win the risk-averse. Tap It Today was second best. Third to photo, it looked like it was Good Things Take Time, edging out Punked.
Monte Cristo found a gear that nobody else had for Michael Trombetta with Jose Ortiz.
This was a beautiful ride by Jose Ortiz. He predicted that the pace was going to be a little bit slow, very slow actually, and just put this filly in a position to stalk. And she just had so much left in the tank closing from off of it. All considering the pace, I actually think Tap It Today ran an incredible race as well.
Couldn't agree with you more, Gabby. Could not agree with you more. I thought the 5 was going to win the race by 4 or 5 lengths, and the 4 is still pursuing because you could see Jose in mid-stretch. He looked back and was like, I got this race won. Well, wait a second, I don't. Let me start hitting here. And you're right. But he won the race in the beginning because if you watch the break, he didn't break great, but he decided, okay, I got a little bit of room here. Let me get my horse to the front. And then he decided, okay, let's turn this into a 2-horse race and just right behind the long shot of a 2. He just basically pretended like he was in front the whole way, Greg, and got the job done.
Third choice on the board, Monte Cristo. Now 4 wins from 5 starts on the turf and a stakes victory on her resume as well at Saratoga. Jose Ortiz taking a peek back. How close is Tap It Today getting to me? You're clear. You're home. And he has the win. We'll be back with the prices from the risk-averse and setup. Our nightcap still to come. We'll be sprinting in a maiden special weight on the turf right after this on Saratoga Live.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern, Bayern holds on.
Back on Saratoga Live, Jose Ortiz on board Monte Cristo, daughter of Cape Blanco, winning the risk-averse here now. 4 wins from 5 tries on the turf for this filly.
Yeah, wow. I mean, the turf has really turned her around. You're right. Cape Blanco, that alphabet soup mare, Reuben Sandwich. Country Life Farm's got to be excited. Maryland bred getting the job done here, and a big old smile. Love that smile.
Reigning Eclipse Award winning rider picks up his 29th winner of the meet. 2-time defending top jockey here as well. Now, he's got a little work to do to catch his older brother, but he'll take this stakes win this afternoon. $10.20 for the win for Country Life Farm. And again, Michael Trombetta, Jose Ortiz.
Yeah, and Tap It today, I'm in complete agreement with Caddy. Don't give up on that horse because Monte Cristo had a great trip. Tap It today was pursuing, and maybe they want him to go a little bit longer. He's okay too.
So Monte Cristo, impressive. Stepping up here to the big leagues and showing that she is absolutely for real. Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale for more.
I'm pleased to be joined by the connections of Monte Cristo here, again with trainer Mike Trombetta and Mike Pons of Country Life Farm and ownership. And Mike, this is validation for your filly.
Yeah, it was good. You know, Jose was determined that he was going to get her out of the gate today, and fortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of pace up front, and he took care of it.
She dominated. She crushed this field.
Yeah, she's got a lot of ability.
Yeah. Well, and Mike Pons, as I turn to you, a lot of times you guys breed horses, but this was actually a purchase, and a fairly frugal kind of purchase of $30,000 for this filly.
Well, we had some help. You know, Mr. Bender was a longtime farm client. I've had luck buying horses from old clients of mine, and we haven't won a stake at Saratoga in forever, so this is quite a thrill for us.
I was going to say, you had to be on cloud 9, obviously, when she came to the wire, but also you had to have high hopes for her, too.
Oh, yeah, she's been a little bit unlucky, but Mike and to get Jose to ride him, I mean, they made beautiful music out there. When I saw him work 1 out of 47, I thought, we got a shot today.
Well, Mike, congratulations. From a Marylander to a Marylander, this is very special.
Amen. We'll be eating crabs tonight.
That's the truth. We're taking this one back to Baltimore, that's for sure here, guys. Monte Cristo, the Maryland-bred filly, dominating in this risk-averse.
For B-Town, how about that? And daughter of Jose Ortiz in his arms in the winner's circle. Big performance by Monte Cristo here as we look at the Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along. $10.20, third choice on the board here, gets the win.
Yeah, and if you're still alive, the lowest you could do is to the favorite, the Chad Brown, for $1,100, and right now at 5-2, but you're not going to get 5-2. You're probably going to get around the 9-5, 8-5. The next lowest, Wesley Ward, the 4-horse, at about 1,900. But if you got some long shots.
How much again to the favorite?
1,100.
Okay, pick 4.
Yes.
$126
Why
to
do you
the
have
favorite.
to say that? I actually gave out the pick 4 to the public. You're going to make them upset?
Nice score. Just mentioning the difference to the pick 4 and the pick 5.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Race 10, here it is, 5.5 furlongs on the turf, maiden special weight, and the favorite we're talking about, Identity Politics for trainer Chad Brown. Jose Ortiz looking for another winner for Klarovich Stables, the leading owners at the meet as well. Ran very big first time out, behind a horse who'd come back to win again. We're going to take a break. We'll be back when we return. Gabby Gaudette sits down with a coach, Dwayne Lucas, talking about his time in this sport. We'll return. Stick with us.
Do you have a favorite failure?
Yeah. The worst thing I ever did in my career is I had a 2-year-old champion named Capote.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
Dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Once again, among the world's leading sires of stakes horses and graded stakes horses, Warfront has sired 8 champions and 8 millionaires. Recent Grade 1 winners include European champion U.S. Navy Flag and Lancaster Bomber, plus an ever-growing list of 2018 graded stakes winners. In the sales ring, his yearlings continue to bring prices well over $1 million. International Super Sire Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Palace Malice coming on the scene late, and then it's Will Takes Charge. Moreno and Orb as they come down to the finish. Will Take Charge with the late surge. Will Take Charge is surging, and it's a photo finish. It's too close to call.
Back in the 2013 Travers, D. Wayne Lucas showing do not count him out. His first Travers starter since 2002. Will Take Charge getting the job done. And earlier that year in the Triple Crown, of course, D. Wayne Lucas had won his first Triple Crown race in 13 years when Oxbow won the Preakness. So look at his Travers victories, corporate report, Thunder Gulch, and of course, 5 years ago with Will Take Charge. He has had a lasting impact in this sport. Gabby Gaudet had a chance to sit down with the coach and talk about his life in a game that he has forever changed.
I love the coaching. And of course, the horses, back in the 50s, where I graduated high school in 53, and running at the county fairs and fooling with these horses seemed like a great little hobby and a lot of fun for a kid 18 years old. But Mom said, look, you can't mess with these horses and hang out with these racetrack people. You got to do something worthwhile with your life. You have to make a contribution to society. She wanted me to go into ministry, believe it or not. Yeah, she thought I might do that. And
did you have any interest in that?
Not really, although I did give the sermon on Easter to the local church one year. But anyhow, at 14. But anyhow, having said that, the horses, while I pursued an education in the coaching ranks, which was my second love, the horses kept pulling at me all the time. And I took the risk and switched over, and it worked out pretty good.
You feel like you made the right decision?
Yeah, I think I did. I made the right decision. I don't think I'd have been good. I don't think I'd have gone very far in coaching, although I could have been maybe at one point the head coach at Michigan.
How do you take that skill of coaching humans and apply it to horses?
Well, I think the organization's the thing. I don't think, I think you have, I have a word that I use, it's called intuitive awareness. And that's what I think makes the difference between people that train horses and are successful to people that train horses and are very successful or great Hall of Famers. They have an intuitive awareness of what that horse needs day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. That's so important.
Do you think that's what makes a successful trainer and horseman, is not getting complacent?
You must evaluate every day. When you win, you need to evaluate how you got there. What made that one special? What happened? And when you lose, you need to evaluate that one and say, you know, what could have I done different? The losses are more educational than the wins, always, if you are in tune to what you're doing. One of my quotes is that successes motivate us, our failures educate us.
Do you have a favorite failure?
Yeah. The worst thing I ever did in my career is I had a 2-year-old champion named Capote. I did a masterful job, I think, and I'm bragging now, of getting him to the Breeders' Cup and winning it. I went from a maiden race to the Norfolk to the Breeders' Cup and World Championship, 3 races. But he got sick, and he had an intestinal problem over the winter. And yet, in the spring, when Derby came around, he had a beautiful hair coat, and he looked good and everything. And I thought, hell, he's 2-year-old champion. He's going to be a Derby horse. And I misread him terribly, terribly. I'm embarrassed to this day, 40 years later. I'm embarrassed of the job I did with that horse. He ran last in the Kentucky Derby, and we retired him to stud. I got, you know, a reality check right there. But I did a terrible job. You got to make the best of your losses because, you know, in this game, if you bet 25% and got a full barn of horses, you're going to be in the national standings because the experience is everything. It's amazing that when you get to be 50 or 60, they think you can't train anymore. And really, those are the guys that really have the experience because there is no how-to book. Now, when you get 83 and old and slow, maybe they want somebody else.
Well, Dwayne Lucas has made a lot of comparisons this week with Will Take Charge to a horse that he has running in the Run Happy Travers this weekend, including a recent jockey move putting Luis Saez aboard.
Yeah. He reminds me a lot of an old manager I had, trader Jack McKeon, who won a couple World Series. And it's just like, it's my way or the highway, and it's worked. So why change it? And age is just a number to Dwayne Lucas, and he keeps telling you that. And he looks the same as he did 20 years ago, and he still has horses competing. Yes, competing. I think a lot of people forget Bravazzo almost won the Preakness. So, like, they're competing at a high level.
Will Take Charge. He said he actually grew after the Triple Crown before going into the Travers. Bravazzo, he's put on more weight. He's become stronger. And Dwayne Lucas thinks he's even better than he's been at any point as he's had him in his 3-year-old campaign. What do you think?
Well, the worry about Bravazzo, he's danced a lot of dances. And so, okay, does he have fresher legs? Is he good enough to beat horses like Good Magic, horses like Gronkowski, who have beaten him already? A lot of horses in here. But, again, like I said, you cannot count out a guy like Dwayne Lucas. But a lot of these horses have gotten the best of him already.
There's a look at the entire field for Saturday's Run Happy Travers Mile and a Quarter, $1.25 million purse for the prestigious Midsummer Derby. Winner gets that canoe painted. Gary and Mary West Coast Silks there right now, went on to 3-year-old championship honors. What colors will they be painted after Saturday? We're going to take a break. We'll be back.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include 4-time graded stakes winner Miss Sky Warrior, 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, multiple stakes winner Bal Harbor, and Dubai Group 3 winner Shamal Nibras. Last year, his 2-year-old sold up to $540,000, while his yearlings fetched up to a whopping $575,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching Saratoga Live. Aiden O'Brien's runners competing this weekend. Getting a look at the track this morning. Seahenge, of course, will be in the Sword Dancer. Mendelson in the Run Happy Travers. Seahenge, two-time winner on the turf. Getting back to the grass, going to be taking blinkers off.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're both coming back in to the States. I think Seahenge getting back on the turf's a much better proposition than Mendelson. And the thing about Mendelson is like, I understand that this horse has got talent, but they're putting him in spots that are just impossible. This is an impossible field. You're going against maybe the second best filly in North America and the best colt in North America right now in Good Courage, and now you got to ship all the way in and try to beat him.
Good magic.
Good magic, excuse me, but I just don't see it again.
Look at the field for race 10 coming up here. 5.5 furlongs here on the turf, a maiden special weight. It's time for a paddock report. So we're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Byron for $15,000.
This is a fun little race to cap things off here on this Thursday afternoon leading into this Travers weekend, as we'll start the conversation though with the two Wesley Ward trainees. And coming back off of a layoff is number 8 in here, Grandma's Favorite, a horse that going back to last year as a 2-year-old never looked as fit as he did now, coming back off of this layoff, and he is sharp here, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if he does have a little bit more speed than what he had shown in his previous 2 outings. And look, the race down at Gulfstream, Guido won that one, and he wasn't beaten that far by him. So I do feel as though this horse has some talent. He looks as though he is ready to rock and roll to go the 5.5 here. But I also like Wesley's other horse, who's a first-time starter and measured twice. Looking back at that last workout, the Bullet over the Oklahoma turf course, he was going way better than his workmate, who, like him, was another unraced 3-year-old. But he is massive, and he is solid, and he is attractive, and he does look pretty fit heading into this one, and he looks as though he lands in the right spot. Number 7 is Sienna Magic, a first-time starter for the Zayat stable, and Todd Pletcher. Good looking. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is okay here too. He worked well going back to his work out of the gate, but it was with an unraced 2-year-old though. Number 10 is Point of Humor, a horse that when he ran first time out, I thought he'd want the turf, and since then Brian Lynch has brought him back and worked him out on the turf, and Brian is very confident in this horse's chances here on this surface change. He does add a shortcut blinker here, Greg, and I would not be surprised if this guy is more successful, we'd hope so, than what he was in his debut on the main track.
Yeah, he seemed to be a little bit too talented for what happened first time out. Rumor has it he worked very good over the turf.
Well, he's a son of Point of Entry. That's where he made all of his money on the main track. And yeah, they got that turf work in, and that means go. And he's been working well in the morning.
So we're going to start things off in our post parade with Fixed Point. This is bizarre. This is the only horse that anyone is alive to in the pick 6. Everybody else it carries to, someone hits it with the 2. This one trained by Phil Serpy.
Seems like a random number sequence. This horse did run well in his first turf start, sprinting down at Gulfstream, and it's a good trainer change, but this is a tough field.
Measured twice, the first-timer for Wesley Ward, son of Scat Daddy with Luis Saez.
This horse has plenty of turf pedigree. The Dam was a good turf runner, taking some money. Why not?
Identity Politics, the favorite for trainer Chad Brown, ran very good in the debut. That was at 7 furlongs at Belmont.
Wow, looks a picture of out there, and got beat by a nice animal first time out in Greek Alphabet. This is strictly the horse to beat.
Lawn Twist, trained by Leo O'Brien, will cut back in distance from a mile. That was in the turf debut at Saratoga back on August the 2nd. Luis Reyes rides.
Ran well first time in the turf and has a real turf pedigree, but the cut back from a mile to 5.5 furlongs is a very difficult one.
Here's the first timer for Todd Pletcher. Sienna Magic, John Velasquez aboard for Zayat Stables.
Yeah, they might have tipped their hand 3 back when they were 2 out of 163 on the work tab, and then they went on the turf. So obviously that turf work must have worked out okay.
Grandma's Favorite, the other Wesley Ward runner. This is a horse that was 3rd to Guido last start. That was back as a 2-year-old.
Wesley Ward has great numbers with turf sprinters coming off of 6-month-plus layoffs, particularly with maidens.
Showcase Mall, Linda Rice runner, and has Junior Alvarado aboard.
Yeah, I mean, Soda broke a tiny bit of flat-footed last time, but this colt by Munnings needs to improve big time here.
And a second-time starter, getting on the turf for the first time, the Brian Lynch runner. Point of humor with Manny Franco.
You don't think of Point of Entry as a sire of 5.5 furlong turf horses, and there really isn't turf pedigree on the dam side, and this is a very tough spot.
That's the field for our nightcap coming up. The favorite, of course, this one right here for Chad Brown, Identity Politics. We're going to take a look at the debut. It came back on July the 6th. It was going 7 furlongs at Belmont Park.
Listen, most of the time, Chad Brown horses pass. But you end up finding out after the Greek Alphabet runs again that Greek Alphabet's a nice horse. Now, is he pursuing? Yes, he is. You can tell there's a tiny bit of give in the ground, but he was never getting to Greek Alphabet, and he's a clear second. I like that he keeps on pursuing. I mean, now he cuts back to 5.5. I thought it was a good race, a good starting point. He wasn't even favored that day. So I think, you know, Andy, he was fast enough for me to stay close in this 5.5 furlong race.
We'll see. I mean, it wasn't a fast pace, and Greek Alphabet was allowed to have the run of the race. And it's important to note that Greek Alphabet came back and won in the dirt and off the turf race, so we don't really know what he can do subsequently in the turf. My biggest question is whether or not he can be that effective in a 5.5 furlong race. He seems to be a bit of a tweener. He probably doesn't want a mile. Does he want to go 5.5? And maybe Belmont Park, those one-turn 6 to 7 furlong races, could be better. Not knocking them, but just a question about a favorite.
I don't know. It is. It's always important to pose those questions, but it's hard to tell after just one race. I mean, could he be a closing sprinter and 7/8 was too far?
No, that's true. And he ran last time in a race that, frankly, had a slow pace, and I thought he ran well to be second. I just think this is a very, very competitive race here. I even think a horse like the 9 Showcase Mall is a live long shot.
Now, there's a look at his horses he's had in today as he tries to set the new record for wins at the meet. There he is, trying to get to 41 wins. He set the record 2 years ago with 40 victories. Todd Pletcher equaled that last year. He is at 33 and counting, and it seems like he has a real good chance to to get to 41.
Yeah, looking through the card tomorrow, Offering Plan is going to be very, very tough. That's obviously Chad's horse in the Yadu. He's 6-5 on the morning line. He's also got the first and second choices in the Travers. Yeah. He's looking for a pretty darn good weekend.
Meanwhile, Wesley Ward, off a 180-plus day layoff on the turf at 5 to 6.5 furlongs.
Pretty good.
Maidens over the last 5 years, 45%.
Wow. It's amazing. You know, Wesley, you know, this horse is dangerous because he started this horse back at Keeneland. A lot of people don't realize that he actually asked Keeneland to take a tobacco barn and turn that into his own stall. So it's away from the Keeneland grounds. He's got his tobacco barn. He does all this stuff, and all of his horses are there, and they have thrived. And for this horse to come up here to Keeneland, he could have shipped his horse all over the Midwest. Makes the 8 very dangerous in here.
I just think Wesley Ward, if you look at his statistics, a trainer who, with maidens off 180-day-plus layoffs and turf sprints from 5 to 6.5 furlongs, he's 5 for 11 with 9 hitting the board. The intention is there. The question is, which one is better, the firster for Wesley Ward and this horse? In doubles, they were similarly priced. On the board right now, Gabby, the 4 measured twice is a much bigger price, and Grandma's Favorite's taking more money.
Yeah, you have to respect the company that he's kept prior to the layoff. But this is a horse that interests me right now at 11-1, the 2 fixed point. So he reminds me of the horse Chattel that won the turf stake last week. No, hear me out for Brandon McFarland. Because he's got one race last year or earlier this year that would be competitive against this field. He was second in a maiden special weight down at Gulfstream. Yes, his race wasn't great last time out, but he was close to the pace collapse. And he goes from Jaime Mejia to Phil Serpy, who does great work with this turf.
He's a live long shot, I agree. I also don't agree that his last race was bad. Actually, he ran well last time. I think that's where the buyer figure came. Well, except Dirty has run giant races, and Dirty arguably could have won our quick call. So he's actually run against horses that were much better than that.
Kind of looked like someone hit the outside rail there. The 4 measured twice was actually acting up on track. But yeah, I mean, I do think that he has a live look of a long shot.
Or the look of a live long shot.
Sorry. I'm trying to figure out what's going on the track here because it looked like
You're multitasking. I get it.
It looked like someone ran into the outside rail.
I think you're right, Gabby. I think it was
maybe
7.
Is Maggie around out to take a look at that?
Well, we can hopefully get to her in a moment. But, yeah, you see outriders with both the 4 and the 7. It doesn't look like any worse for the wear here. Is Luis Saez with a smile on his face on board the 4.
Yeah, it looked like Louis and Johnny were talking to each other, and I think, yeah, there you go. Yeah, good eyes by Gabby there. We saw something too, but it was like the 7 hit that rail, knocked it down. Thank God it's temporary.
Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Well, guys, I actually didn't see who did it. You just had the 4 on the screen as far as horses reacting to it. He's the one that actually did it. He was in the vicinity. But look, these are both first-time starters, both of which are back with their ponies now. So it may have been the 4 because he was away from his pony. But anyway, just want to talk about number 5, Identity Politics, who is likely still not with his pony. That is because he's a little naughty. He had other things on his mind in the paddock. He was acting a bit studdish, and yes, he is not with his pony beneath Jose Ortiz here. There he is, all by his lonesome. Physically, though, this horse looks tremendous. I just think he has a little bit of that coltish streak to him where they are keeping him away from the other horses as of now. And look, he, as I said, beyond that, physically, he looks like the favorite here, Greg.
And he clicks down a little bit more to 9-5 right now. I get the big question mark. He went 7 furlongs first time out. Can he keep up at 5.5? As we take a look at the Saratoga Showdown. Free online contest. Silence on top right now as we head into our final race. Again, you're playing for real prizes here. And you can do it each and every day of the show. Go to NYRA.com/showdown.
Great way. We talk about it all the time. Great way to get involved as you look at the boy from Mechanicville that is looking for another W, and there's his charge.
He is 34th winner of the meet for the meet's leading trainer here, Chad Brown. If he can get it done here in the nightcap, who you went with. Everybody else went against this one as we look at the Wesley Ward first-time starter that Maggie Wolfendale went with in here measured twice, who has that flashy drill coming in.
Yeah, this is a difficult race. Like, it really is. I can see where Andy's going with the 8 Grandma's Favorite. I can see where Maggie's going with the other Wesley Ward. How did you go wrong with Wesley Ward on the turf sprinting? The guy's a master. And Phil, Phil might have claimed a nice little one here with the 2. The 10 on the outside is getting bet because of the works in the morning on the turf. So I think that one will improve, but I also think against this group might need a race.
The 9-horse Showcase Mall interests me in this race, a horse we haven't really talked about. This horse actually had trouble, broke slowly in his debut, and got completely hemmed in and sort of stopped from doing his best running by the eventual winner in the stretch. And while he didn't finish up that well, I think the trouble was mitigated by, his performance was mitigated by the trouble he had. We saw the 3rd finisher, Hangman, come back and win. And Linda Rice doesn't win first time out with turf sprinters very often, so he probably needed a race. Then he gets rained off the turf in his next race. This is the next chance he's had to sprint the turf. It's a very tough field, and he could run extremely well and run 4th in this race. But I think at 12-1, he's a horse Showcase Mall that's worth mentioning.
Now, watching that race too, Andy, and I know you're kind of alluding to it, but yes, he did get into a little bit of trouble, stuck behind horses. But after that, I wish he would have kicked on. It just seemed like Jose Lezcano kind of wrapped up on him, but maybe he did need the race, and he's more fit in his 3rd race in his career. This is a tricky race and a great betting race that I love.
I agree. I thought this was one of the more interesting races on today's card, actually. And we pretty much talked about every horse in this race, and those are the kind of races you enjoy. Yes, the 8-5 favorite could win. It's the Chad Brown factor as well. There are question marks about that one. Maggie had question marks. I have question marks. He can win, but I just feel like there's so many other horses at better prices.
Including that 2-horse, so you just got to look at that would result the only horse in this race that will result in the pick 6 getting hit, which is just unheard of. You don't see a 13-1 shot being the only horse bringing home the pick 6, but this horse ran very good turf debut at Gulfstream, 5 furlongs, was in maiden special weight company, ran 2nd in that race at 66-1, and got on the turf again on a drop in class and wound up 3rd, but now in a new barn.
Yeah, and just because Todd Pletcher's not having his normal meet, we're forgetting about the 7, who reportedly has been working great in the morning as well, and you're getting what? 6-1 on her.
That's a daughter, or son, I should say, of Candy Ride. So here we go. Let's go to Larry Colmus for the nightcap from Saratoga.
For the start. They're off. Sienna Magic broke very well, and on the inside, it's Fixed Point. Lawn Twist is away running in third right behind them. Then it's Grandma's Favorite in fourth as they head up the back stretch. Measure Twice is there. In between horses, Identity Politics goes up with Showcase Balls on the outside. And Point of Humor is last early. Moving for the far turn, and Fixed Point takes charge here on the opening quarter mile in 21.55 seconds and gets away to a length and a half lead on the far turn. Measure Twice slips through an opening on the inside of Lawn Twist. Grandma's Favorites on the far outside. Sienna Magic starts to backpedal. Identity Politics saves ground but is under a drive. Showcase Mall and Point of Humor. They're coming to the top of the stretch, and it's Fixed Point turning for home with a 2.5 length lead here. Measure Twice is second with a furlong to run. Identity Politics on the outside is third. Jose Lezcano and Fixed Point trying to get another 16th. And then it's Measure Twice and Identity Politics trying to cut into the gap late. Fixed Point holding them off. Fixed Point wins it. Measure Twice was second. Then Identity Politics, a photo between Sienna Magic and Grandma's Favorite for fourth.
12-1 to close things out, and this results in the pick six getting hit. Wow, got to the front, kept on going.
Yeah, you knew that this horse was live when he popped out of the gate like that and really just took the field gate to wire. We even saw the favorite Identity Politics. He looked like he had a tough time getting going. Jose Ortiz really getting after him from the get-go. So overall, considering the pace, he actually ran pretty well.
Wow, he just stopped the clock at 102 flat. So this was a legit time right now because the 4 did pursue, and I thought ran on well here on the inside. The 5 just, you're right, Andy, a tweener horse. It's 5.5, a little too short.
Yeah, and Ripley just called me and he said, nah, I don't believe those fractions the final time. I'm going to want to check Trackus. They seem a little hard to believe. I know the course is firmed up, but great pick by Gabby, and Fixed Point took him wire to wire.
Like someone had a little info here. Playing the pick six today.
Right?
12-1.
Lone ticket to this horse. And
wow.
You didn't have to sweat.
Not at all. They were never getting to the 2. 12-1 to close out the card. Jose Lezcano aboard. Phil Serpy off the claim. Son of Mitch Shipman gets the victory. We'll be back with prices right after this.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Saratoga Live. We're wrapping things up out here on the East Coast. On the West Coast, they're just getting going. At Del Mar, use your NyraBets account to split 250,000 points without even hitting a ticket. Just bet a $10 base exacta in race 5 at Del Mar. To split those 250,000 points, head to NyraBets.com. to place your wager. Fixed Point, Jose Lezcano, Phil Serpi off the claim for Wellspring Stables. Got to the front, had never had the lead before in any of the 6 races he had run in. Today he did, and he kept on going.
You make a good point about Jose Lezcano. Likes to take the chance of putting the horse on the front end. Gabby talking about the horse broke sharp, boom, right to the front end. And by the way, if you were at the Keeneland January 2016 sale and you had $1,100 in your pocket, you could have bought Fixed Point. Just shows you don't need to get in this game for a lot of money. $1,000 son of midshipman. I have a no-biz like showbiz mare. Shine a spotlight. Congratulations.
That's pretty incredible. Running for a purse of $85,000 in this race.
Good stuff.
Naira Betts late pick 5 comes back over $7,000 for the victory here. As you see how it closes out with the biggest number of the sequence.
What if Shanghai Schwartz wouldn't have ran down that one? Wow. I mean, there might have been a carryover, but congratulations if you had this and the pick 6. I mean, to be alive and the only ticket alive to a 12-to-1 shot, I don't care if it's by chance, by number, your house number, it's good handicap.
Yes, it is. Saratoga Showdown. Ooh. New winner on top. Don H. Jr. getting it done. $349 bankroll. Again, competing for real prizes like a grand prize ticket package to next year's Belmont Stakes. Get involved every day of our show. You can do it. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. Friday stakes schedule coming up. We're loaded with action. Yaddo worth $150,000. Fleet Indian. The West Point, more than $1.5 million in total purse money. And going to be fun 55, of course, in that Yaddo for trainer Chad Brown. As you look at the winning trainer there, Phil Serpi from the most recent race we just showed you. But 55, looking to go back-to-back. Just had a win on a yielding turf course at Belmont last time out.
Yeah, this is a loaded card tomorrow. I mean, listen, we're getting like almost like a dessert. Like this is like Christmas Eve compared to Christmas, what we're going to get on Saturday. But yeah, a bunch of New York bred stakes races. 7th race starts the Naira Bet late pick 5, and it's a very, very good sequence.
We will see you tomorrow. Again, on Travers Day, it is an early start for us. You'll catch us at 1 Eastern time, 3 hours earlier than usual. But tomorrow, back at our usual time at 4 Eastern time, our feature race, the Risk-Averse, Monte Cristo. With the win for trainer Michael Trombetta, Country Life Farm, and Jose Ortiz. This 3-year-old filly, now 4 for 5 in her career on the turf. And with a stakes victory on her resume. We will see you tomorrow, everyone.